we might even be able to do a 6-pack this week
Oh yeah.
of series. Yeah, I put together a 6-pack for the series. Now, granted, of course, we don't know who's going to be playing the 1 seeds yet, but they've got everything else up, and I came together and I've got 6. To me, they're almost foolproof.
Well, I mean, unless you're going for the 1 seeds, unless you're going games and not series winners, it doesn't matter.
Well, in this case, they're not just straight up or a spread. Well, some of them are spreads. Like, for instance, and I will get to it later, but just I'll give a teaser here. Orlando Magic at Boston Celtics. You can get the Magic plus 3.5 at -160. So that just means that they can't get swept. That's all that means. That -160 for them to not get swept. They'll win 1 game in that series.
And Paolo go for 40 one night.
They're going to win 1 game. They're good enough defensively to do it. And if you look at it over the past 3 years, the Magic are the team that have had the Celtics number. They're going to win a game.
Well, they could actually match up with them with that non-big length pause.
Yes, a lot of girth.
No, I mean they just got they got big basketball players. You know, kind of how the Lakers, even though they don't have a big man, they can have when they have LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves,
Rui,
LeBron, Luka, Austin Reeves, Rui, and Vando on the court.
Yeah, that's everybody but Austin Reeves is 6'9", and then Austin Reeves is still 6'5", 6'6".
Yeah. So you may not have, or let's kick Vando off and put Jackson Hayes in, right? You may not have a big center, but you have the side advantage everywhere. But we're not talking basketball yet, man. How we doing today, Parlay Pete?
We are doing fantastic. Took that week off, got bye week, you could say. And we're ready for the play-in/playoffs. How are you doing today?
Not too bad. You know, for the football types, this is a time where you can kind of take a little week off here or there.
Yeah.
Nobody needed to hear off-season football and pre-playoff, pre-play-in basketball, really. Like, could we talk? Sure. But do we have to?
There wasn't very much out there. It's certainly from the sports standpoint, because you start talking about, well, the NFL draft's 2 weeks away. The playoffs are 2 weeks away. The play-in, there's not even an exciting race for somebody's going to be eliminated if they don't win this game to get in the play-in. The play-in teams were pretty much already set. So there wasn't even any type of suspense there.
The floor was set. And the only real suspense was how would the West shake out?
Right, pretty much.
We're not talking no more basketball because we got a guest to talk basketball, you know?
Right, that's true.
How was your weekend, man? Do anything fun?
Was with the daughter, of course. We had a good time, went to the park, went to Sky Zone, did a little jumping. Cooked dinner, had a movie pizza night. So yeah, all in all, pretty much fun. Went grocery shopping and stuff. Yeah, so
nice.
It was fun.
Another nice, wholesome weekend.
Yeah. How about you? What we get into?
Not much. We just chilled out.
Just chilled out, huh?
Yeah.
Well, little birdie told me you were in Underground. I don't know what was going on down in Underground this weekend, but whenever I go there, there are basically raids going on. So
I was there during the day.
Now, even more interesting. Tell us more. I don't know what goes on there during the day.
There was a 2000s, 2010s day party.
Okay.
We had a little rich kid sighting.
Really?
A little Michael Montana sighting.
So Schoolie was walking around, huh?
Sure.
Okay.
I think there were some other people there, but it was cool just to hear the old music from the high school, college days. Kind of ratchet up there, though.
You wear any jabots or a jersey or something?
No, I didn't get in costume. I just had on a pair of olive cargo pants, some Jordan 9s, and a black hoodie.
Okay, so pretty inconspicuous.
Yeah, that was the plan for the day.
Yeah. You never know. In Atlanta, you can be spotted by anyone, anywhere.
Hey, just think about the last 2 weekends with how the Beltline thing happened with y'all.
Mm-hmm.
And then,
Yeah. It happens.
Life's a highway, and I want to ride it all night long. Pause.
Yeah. Whew, that was crazy. I'm not going to lie. Riding it all night long.
It's a song.
I get it, but
isn't it Rascal Flatts?
I think that was that dude's name. But still, riding it all night long, huh? Boy. But
yeah, Flatts. Here we go. From Cars,
Yeah, I know what you're talking about. I don't know. That was a that was a weird way to throw that in there. But we'll move on from it because look, the power of the big T is all that matters in these type of situations.
Talking about our president and the big tariffs, or just Big Trump himself?
Well, I'm talking more about the big T that you got on right now. The title of this podcast, that's the big T that I'm talking about. That T specifically.
Oh, so you're talking about Josh Heupel making a stand and setting the tone for how you run a contending program in college football.
He put the lever and I'm a lever. That's what he did. He made him live up to his last name.
Yeah, he did. All right, so let's paint a little backstory for anybody who's been living under a rock and doesn't follow sports, which means they probably don't listen to the show. Nico, I'm not going to try to say his last name.
It's Iamia Alava, I believe. I think that's actually how it's pronounced.
Yeah, I think it's Acapulco. I cannot make. I don't have the. Yeah.
I tell you what, for the viewers at home, the other Nico.
Yeah, not Fat Nico.
Well, not Mavericks Nico.
Oh, the guy who talked but couldn't be recorded, like he had a side chick up there with him or something.
Yeah, we'll get to that obviously a little bit later. But yes, that Nico.
Yo. After that misrepresented Instagram picture, right? At your old place.
What are you talking about?
The Instagram picture that misrepresented me.
Ah, yes.
That's when I became Nico. No cameras.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, for her, it was about the camera.
She should have just said, "Hey, I want to get my OnlyFans popping."
I don't know what it was. I just felt like
I got some big D.
Yeah.
For your big T.
The power of the big T.
But yeah, so long story short, Nico wanted more money, and Josh Heupel said, "All right, well, sell a brick, nigga. If you want to play quarterback here in Knoxville, you'll take it, or you'll fucking leave it. You think you're gonna hold out of my camp the day before the spring game?"
Well, I can't help but feel like the way that really did go, because he had obviously missed a couple of practices apparently, and it's like he's out on the field and he's like asking everybody where's 8, and like motherfuckers are like, he said he wasn't coming, and then he's like, all right, fuck him. Like basically, like as soon as he got back to his office, he went on ahead, he made the phone call, he said, look, man, he's like, you're out of here. You're out
Yeah,
of here.
he said he told the assistant head coach, "Hey, run practice. I got me and the GM. We got we got to handle some business."
Yeah.
But I honestly, man, I loved it so much because I'm happy we're starting here because I think this is a very layered conversation. We can talk about programs like the power of the Big T. We can talk about players. And in players, we can talk about different positional players and career college players versus guys who think they may become NFL stars. And then we can talk about the NCAA and its impotence. Let's start with the program, Big T.
Your alma mater.
My alma mater. You see my hood back there.
We see the hood, we see the hat, we see the sweatshirt. I mean, you're decked out. You're showing the power of the Big T right now. Look at that, a fucking shot. Like, where's your shot at in there? I know you got some of that skull sombrero shit.
No, I took a shot before and no more liquor. I'm cutting back. I'm cutting back.
Good, good. You know, it's crazy. I haven't had liquor on this show now for, well, we didn't do one last week, but it's been like 3 or 4 weeks, like nothing at all. Even though I'm not going to lie, I think I am going to run and get a beer. Can you set this up just for 2 seconds? I'll be right back.
I'll be right back. So while Parlay Pete's going to grab a beer, jokes. But anyway, so Nico wants his money. There are stories that came out after the fact saying that he threatened to sit out the college football playoff over this, you know what I mean? Really standing on business. That doesn't happen. Maybe some promises were made, promises that were lies, but promises were made. And he wanted more money. He saw the market and saw what other guys were getting and said, hey, I'm better than him. I deserve that. And player, like, you do what's best for you. But shout out to the University of Tennessee, because in the absence of guardrails by the NCAA, you see a coach and a program say, hey, this is our structure. This is how this is going to run. Mind you, they're going to the players are going to start revenue sharing once the next season starts. So these NIL bags that are separate, some guys are trying to double dip because we know once they start getting paid by the schools, the NIL is going to drop and they're going to turn into real branding deals, but neither here nor there. Shout out to Josh Heupel for taking a stance and saying, hey, no, this program has a standard. Yes, if you're really good, if we really want you here, we will pay you handsomely. But what you're not going to do is you're not going to jerk us around. And what it appears is that the coaches kind of stood with him. You know, the rumor is that a guy up in Oregon, Dan Lanning, you know, champion at University of Georgia, let Heupel know, hey, man, your boy shopping. And a top, you know, he was number 2 in his class behind Arch Manning. A guy who was getting a high school NIL, famous for his pajama pants. You would have he was like the high school prospect that was going to 7-on-7 like pajama pants and like slinging it.
Oh,
he led UT to the playoffs. Now, whatever, led us to the playoffs. You would think he would have a lot of larger programs looking at him, and nah, it wasn't there for him. Also, last thing, and I'll throw it to you, boss. Shout out to the SEC for having a rule that if you transfer in the spring window, you cannot stay in conference.
do you think anyone in the SEC would have at least poked at it, the idea of bringing him on? I mean, some people would think that Georgia might have been one of those teams just because.
It depends on the relationship of Kirby and Heupel.
I was going to say more so Gunner and Kirby more than anything.
Well, as much as I'd like to believe that Kirby would be aggressive in fixing his offense, Mike Bobo's still employed, and Gunner's QB1 coming out of the spring with not much competition. But we're not talking about back-to-back national champion University of Georgia Bulldogs.
Yeah, not the Power G.
No. We're talking about the Power
T. Is that something you guys do? They don't do this. Who does that? I forgot. Somebody does do it.
I was about to say something that was socially acceptable in like college, but it's not socially acceptable on the podcast.
Well,
you ever have a pair of LA Gears?
LA Gears.
Yeah.
Do I have a pair?
Have you ever had a pair?
No.
Oh, rhymes with LA Gears. Rhymes with LA Gears.
I'm honestly drawing a blank here, Lee. I'm not gonna lie. I hope that I'm not disappointing you, but
nah, you're good.
I don't know how the T gets involved with it. That's why I'm trying to correlate the two.
Cliffhanger.
Maybe you can put it in the private chat, and we can get a big smile on my face. But yeah, no, I agree. I think that with Georgia. Well, we're not talking about Georgia, but just the idea of them putting that in place, it helps with that. Even although I don't think that he would have done something like that. Okay. Yeah, but when would they do that? I guess is what I'm trying to figure out.
That's how you'd reference the school.
Right.
Whoever the school is doing it, he's like, look at those.
Yes, got you.
Look at those LA Gears, yeah. Look at those Dale Broadwaters.
Right. We haven't cracked one on Dale in a minute, so it's always good to get him involved a little bit in the show. But back to Tennessee, I think that Nico ultimately, did he do what was best for him? And then, there's all these rumors about his dad really being the guy that was pushing the envelope. You would think, I think they said he was getting two. That he was already getting two.
Yeah.
And I understand everybody, you saying you think that a lot of these guys, because the collective is about to start getting paid by the schools, that they're trying to double dip or whatever. But when does greed come into this? Where is the idea that greed is starting to take over the sport? It's taking it over to the point at where you've got guys and girls, because it's not just football. Women's all these sports, people are, going to end up fucking going to a different school every year. It's going to be somebody you see that's been in school for 5 years and they went to 4 schools. Look at TJ Finley, right? He's about to be on like his 5th school.
Is he at Morehouse now?
Man, he might be. Terrace Mathis might have went on ahead and recruited him, because I don't know anybody else that ever won his ass.
So it's now becoming two separate athletes on 2 different career paths. It's the semi-pro athlete and the college athlete. And I think if you are a semi-pro athlete, the bag should never be the first thing that guides your decision making. Unless you are a skill player and you are top 5 coming out, right? Not quarterback. I mean, like if you're a corner, a wide receiver, running back, even corners, where you go matters. But certain positions, bro, go get your money. It's not going to matter. But the semi-pro athlete primarily should choose the program that fits them best, personality, development, preparing them for the NFL. And maybe you just stay at the same place and you get a real degree, right? Then you have the college athlete. The college athlete that demands a bag, who may play at the next level. So it's more than 2 tracks. Hey, bro, chase the bag. be a mid-round draft pick, and maybe your talent will prove out over time in the league. But you're going to mess up your first contract money because you were so focused on the college money. Then you got Hunter Dickerson, right? Make him a college football player. Bro, you just go get the money. You're not a pro.
Yeah.
So you just get as much money as you can. And then you have some guys who just stay at a program for 4 years, 5 years, and they enjoy that program. And it's not even about money. It's about continuing to do something that they love. Yeah, so I think it's just going to be different tiers of football player, but we're going to all try to group them into like one or two, and it's unfair to describe college football. You didn't listen to Legend, did you?
I did not get to listen to what you sent the hour for, right, of Paul?
Yeah.
What did Legend have to say? Was it in regards to this?
Yes. He talked about a lot of other nonsense. Then he made fun of Tennessee. But he was talking about how one of the guys who introduced him to college football, his older brother, and somebody else who watches college football and loves college football more than he does. And for Legend to say these two people who love college football more than him, that says a lot, if you know who Legend is.
I feel like even if you don't watch or listen to the Paul Feinbaum show, you have to know who he is, because anytime Alabama plays Auburn, well, really any type of rivalry game for Alabama, or just any big game that Alabama's got, he is going to have a clip on the show. He will be on. He will be clipped off for 30 seconds at least on First Take when Paul Feinbaum's on there.
Yes.
Or the Saturday show, when they have him on.
Exactly. So he was saying that the way the game is getting is starting to turn them off. And he said he hasn't been turned off yet, but it's a possibility. And I forgot who else I was listening to. They were saying how they understand why certain people don't really like the game anymore. Don't like the game like they used to, because what made college different from the NFL was the tradition. And back to your greed thing, the TV networks are greedy, the conferences are greedy, the schools are greedy, the ADs are greedy, the head coaches are greedy, and now the players are greedy. And it's just a system fueled on greed, and greed drives everything. Because as much as we like the 12-team playoff, they didn't pick the right teams because of greed. They won't make it a wide open playoff because of greed. And we're going to expand the playoff even though we don't need more than 4 teams, maybe 8 making a playoff, because of fucking greed. It's the greed games. Go off, King. I talked for like 20 minutes.
Yeah. I just think that the thing with it is there's got to be some boundaries that have got to get set. And I know Herb Street was on McAfee earlier today. And, he couldn't even begin himself, as somebody that's been a lifer for college football, he couldn't even begin to think of, well, who do you put in charge of this? Who's going to be running this? How do you set it up? Because as far as I'm concerned, if you look at the way that it's structured, it almost looks like baseball, to where there's no cap, right? Mm-hmm. And at that point, you can get a school. If Texas A&M has the money to pay Jimbo, $15, $13 million a year over the next 8 years, what is it to them to go out and talk to Ohio State and go to Jeremiah Smith and say, hey, man, we heard that they're only giving you 2.5. We've got 5 right now. Right now. If you hurry up and you come over here, no questions asked, that wire hits your account tomorrow morning. Because it's past 5 now. That wire will hit your account tomorrow morning if you agree to this. We want you here. And then granted, somebody like Arch isn't going to leave, but the next big thing, who's the kid at Michigan? Underwood, or whatever his name is. The ambidextrous guy. You go and get him. Texas A&M. Because if you've got blank checks and you can just throw them around to anybody, it turns into baseball. You start to look like the fucking Dodgers of college football.
But here's the thing. We're still seeing the smart, high-end players continue to go to the high-end programs. And I don't know if you've seen latest recruiting rankings, but Dabo is back.
Dabo's back, huh?
Yeah. I don't know if it was 2025 or if it's 2026, but like Dabo got like a top 5 class. And what it boils down to is that for those who are really trying to go to that next level and they have a good support system around them, or they're just not straight up poor.
Yeah.
They are looking at the long term. Because let's be honest, we're not talking about a Joe Burrow who transferred because he couldn't play and killed shit in year 2, or a Jane Daniels who transferred because of coaching changes, all of that, and eventually killed and won a Heisman, right?
Yeah.
We're talking about Nico, a guy who was hyped coming in and has underperformed as a Tennessee alum. We were not confident on 3rd and 8 Nico's gonna make a play. He might light it up for 303.
Yeah, but that's against Western Kentucky.
But if you just watched how he got his 300, it's not I carved you up for 300 like Baker Mayfield was doing in college.
And is it fair to blame him for that? Now, again, they were saying that a part of the reason that he's leaving, too, it wasn't just money and that it was Heupel's offense. Now, granted, look, they have the top running back in the SEC in Sampson, right? I mean, he led the SEC in rushing. So if you got the best running back in the country, in the conference, you're going to be more prone to run the ball a little bit more. Now, that could also speak to the confidence they have in his arm, or maybe the receivers weren't that good at Tennessee. I don't know. They made the playoffs, though. You have success for the first time in a long time at a program that's been dying to have any kind of success. You know what I mean? This was a win for them. Like, in my opinion, Tennessee, this was a win. Now you lose a guy, and they're claiming that it's not about money, but nobody wants to come out and say what it is. All the reports say that it is money, but then UCLA also says that they gave him a certain offer and that it wasn't what he was asking for and that they're staying firm on it, which another layer to that, too, is that his brother had switched. His brother was going to go to UCLA and then switched at Arkansas. So it's just interesting to me and how maybe the media has their part in it too. But how do we get to the point at where a Nico is asking for $4 million? Who is the highest paid guy in college football? Why does he feel like he can command that from Tennessee? Is it because of the leverage and thinking that they haven't had this type of success until I did get there? What is the reason?
Carson Beck got $4 million.
Carson Beck also, for what it's worth, although we went undefeated in the fucking rank. Like, I mean, he's doing what he's supposed to do. It was unfortunate the way that, the playoffs worked at that time. It was a 4-team and they left him out. But I have no doubt that Georgia would have won the national championship if they got into the playoff. Like, they would have won.
But hold on. If you were Nico, and I'm not saying you would stand on business because you're not Drewski, you're Nico, right?
Yeah.
And you're just looking at Carson Beck coming off of the messed up elbow, right?
Yeah.
Injury. Go get $4 million. And you're making $2 million. Now, mind you, $2 million in Knoxville is more than $4 million in Miami, if you ask me. But wouldn't you be like, hey, this is Carson Beck we're talking about. This guy will be lucky to get a clipboard and a visor.
Yeah, but there was a lot of hype of him going 1 coming into the season. There was hype around that. Like, that was real.
And then they watched him. They didn't watch him before. He had Brock Bowers, who was a Pro Bowl level player. If he didn't make the Pro Bowl, I don't keep up with that.
No,
he had
arguably
Pro Bowl level player as rookie.
Yeah, arguably a top 3 tight end in the NFL right now, and a wide receiver that's going to be a future Pro Bowler.
I mean, he was the best rookie receiver last year. Sorry, Malik.
Well, Brian Thomas was.
Uh,
He had Carsville's finest throwing him the ball too.
Shout out to T Law, man. Big T.
Yeah, that's the big T. Pause.
So do you think it works out for Nico at UCLA?
What is your definition of working out? Him getting paid and going to the NFL, him winning games and being competitive in the Big Ten.
Do you think Nico?
Him fucking a bunch of baddies on campus? Like what?
He's not going to be on campus. He's going to be in LA.
Right. Caleb Williams status, huh?
I mean, because he already got rich his first year when he didn't play. Because he's like $2 million a year. He got $2 million on a redshirt year. How dare you come back and ask me for some money? I overpaid you just so you wouldn't leave.
I don't think he threw for 3,000 yards last year.
I don't think he looked better than Joe Milton.
No, he didn't. He didn't, honestly.
Or my man, for him, Hendon Hooker.
Let me see here real quick. He didn't. He didn't throw for 3,000 yards, man. Yeah, if I'm hyped, I'm telling him to get the fuck out of my office too. Like
what were his numbers?
So 10-3 record, 63% completion percentage, 2,600 passing yards, 19 TDs, 5 INTs. He had 358 yards rushing and 3 rushing touchdowns. So we're talking 22 total touchdowns and not even 3,000 total yards. And you got blown out in the playoff game. Now, granted, you lost to the eventual national champions on the road, but like you got you were outclassed almost the entire game.
Do you think he plays in the NFL?
I can see him being a camp arm because he's got the size and stuff.
So you don't think
he could be like a 6'5"? You know what I mean? Like he could be a camp arm.
So you don't see him moving up to being like a late first, a second round grade that moves into the first for the 5th year and gets a chance to start in year 2?
I think Josh Rosen turned everybody off from UCLA football and drafting guys.
PTR?
He probably did it too. I mean, that's why granted, he didn't really have high expectations like a Josh Rosen. Because look, I was wrong about Josh Rosen too. I thought he was gonna be good. But
we want Josh Rosen. We wanted him post. No, we just got stuck with him.
Well, when you're talking about in Atlanta, when we got him here, I mean, this was like his 4th team. He was here to literally compete for the backup position. He wasn't gonna be a starter ever.
He was just trying to make sure that he could make millions annually because it's going to take him a while to do that professionally outside of football. I think he's a realtor now.
Well, he's rich as fuck. Like his family was rich. And so like he's good. He all right. But like I'm sure that he was wise enough I'm sure he was one of those people that could blow his like rookie check because he was already good. But
and his people were probably like, hey, once he, hit rock bottom in Arizona, it was, hey, just do what you can to keep getting contracts.
Yeah, he's and not that this matters. I don't want anyone to call me Kanye West, or Ye rather. His dad is an orthopedic spine surgeon in LA. He's Jewish. Big surprise there, right? And his great grandfather is Joseph Wharton, who founded the Wharton School of Business at the University of Penn.
He's more than okay.
He's actually a student there now. I guess he's getting his MBA or something. But
yeah, he's fine.
Yeah.
Let's not talk about him anymore.
Yeah.
I
think that this is what I think is going to happen at a school like UCLA. I thought UCLA overachieved personally last year. There were games that they won that they had no business winning, and I just remember because of the betting aspect of it. But because they were 500, they went like 6-6, right? They were something like that. And in the Big Ten, that's a big accomplishment for a school that just had moved over there. In my opinion, I thought that they overachieved, especially considering how Deshaun Foster's press conference went.
Well, not even that. Just considering he went from being a position coach to a head coach, and he got hired late because you remember Chip left
to be the OC at Ohio State. Yeah, it was late in the year. Was that? I think it was almost. If it wasn't after spring ball, then it was like right before, like, or in the middle of it.
Oh, I think it was after spring ball because it took some talking into and just thinking about friends of the program and their timeline and stuff like that.
Yeah.
It was after spring ball.
Yeah. So tough position to be put in. And for him, he could say that this was him kind of going out and getting that big fish. But at the end of the day, we know that line play matters. The guys you have around him are going to matter. My expectation is that it'll be much of the same and much ado about nothing in regards to how UCLA's season pans out. I don't think that anything's going to change there. Maybe they'll get an additional game on TV or something. I don't even know who UCLA is going to play this year, but with the likes of Michigan, Ohio State, Penn State, USC, they're going to still have to play USC, who I don't even know because I know Miller Moss is gone from there. But Oregon, yeah. I mean, when you've got these type of schools, Utah, who's always typically got a pretty good program, when you got to play these schools on a regular basis, it just it's no bueno. And even a guy like Frank Reich, but even a guy like you said Utah's not. Oh, they're the Big 12. You're right.
You start thinking Pac-12. I know.
Yeah, Washington's not. They're Big 10. Washington's Big 10.
I think so.
Yeah, they're Big 10. They're Big 10.
Shout out to Kelsey Plum, distinguished alum. Bro, how about those courtside AA?
Uh-huh.
409 a pop.
For the season opener?
For damn near any game for the dream that you want to see. If you want to sit under the goal, courtside, 400. I checked multiple games.
Well, they're going to open up at State Farm, right, for the Fever game.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, look, it's a growing sport. And actually, we can get to that, too, once we're done with football. We can start with that. That can be the appetizer for the NBA because we did have a draft there as well.
We only cared about 2 picks.
Man, third one now. Did you see the girl that went second?
Oh yeah, she
like her highlight shit, like her dunking and shit.
She flushing like she's
dunking. Yeah, she looked like a nigga. Is what
like she ain't like BG doing that weak ass shit or Candace Parker doing that weak ass shit.
No. She's dunking it, nigga.
Like she's gonna be dunking.
Tony Parker said that she's the Wemby of the. She's gonna be the Wemby of the WNBA. Yeah.
Yeah, like she gonna be dunking on girls. Cause like Pops ain't even gonna be thinking about somebody being vertical. And she gonna just like stay back, and then Shorty go and just and it's gonna look real athletic and manly.
Well, that's what I saw in the little highlight because I think it was Rakia Jackson that put it up and was like, "I don't want to be the first woman dunked on in the WNBA." And that highlight they showed her.
Hey, power of the Big T.
Yeah. Anyways, look,
by the way, I'm going to Hawks Sparks. Wayne said for me to let him know when I commit to it.
Is Wayne saying that he'll leave from Texas to come here to watch a game?
Bro, the W breakdowns that I had with Wayne earlier today when we were talking about Indiana and how they got to find out a way to play through Caitlin and Aaliyah together versus them playing their own game separately within the game. Yeah, it got a little too.
You guys are starting to do X's and O's for women's basketball.
I can only do it for a few teams. and a few players.
I'm about the betting aspect of it. I just like when you sent over the Chicago versus Indiana opening weekend match, I said fever spread. That's all I care about. Can they cover? Are they going to cover?
And I said, I'll spread the cover on Chicago.
Yeah.
Or excuse me, Chicago will cover the spread, right? No. The spread.
No, you said you'll spread Chicago, is what you said,
and cover them.
Yes, exactly. And so,
spread.
no, but hold on. When we can get ready to close out on the Big T, because actually I've got a breaking news in regards to the Big T here, and it's our old buddy, and you can go ahead and cue up the sound. Urban Meyer just spoke on Nico Iamaleava's departure. Go ahead, give it to us.
I don't have any Urban anymore.
Fuck! No, you got the South Park.
You're fired.
No.
It's ridiculous.
No,
How?
No, it's gone.
Damn it. You
I
will
got it.
respect my authority. All right, I just did it.
Yeah,
Anyways, this is what Herb had to say on Nico leaving. Tennessee is screwed. They got a problem. Everybody's saying, nice job, Tennessee, making a stand. I've got a little comment on that. Tennessee plays Florida usually every year in October. Can you imagine that game, which I don't know if this is just type bad or this is what he said. Can you imagine that game's going the other way and Coach Heupel grabs the microphone and stands on the 50-yard line in Neyland Stadium and says, it's okay, I made a stand way back when. End quote.
I mean, that's very reflective of Urban.
Well, the person that commented or that how I got to see it on my timeline here on Twitter is known disciplinarian Urban Meyer. And it's a picture with Aaron Hernandez with his arm around Herb.
Yeah, like Herb doesn't have a. If you're good with him. I just need you in the facility, and I'll do what I can to keep you here.
You know what I think of when I think of Herb? I think about when he retired from Ohio State, and they showed him like on like the cart, and he was like eating a pizza from Papa John's or something from in the stadium because he was having like a heart problem or he was like exhausted or whatever it was that was going on with him. That's the lasting image I just think of Herb. I just think of him eating that, not him with the chick in his lap at his bar. After a Thursday night loss to one of the worst teams in the NFL, at the time, one of the worst teams in the NFL. I don't think about that. I think about him eating a pizza and that being the lasting image of his college football career. Not kicking kickers and telling them to make their kicks dipshit. Not that. Think about this man eating a Papa John's pizza.
You know what I remember when I think of Urban Meyer?
What's that?
I remember his daughter going in on him at her senior night for saying he pretty much was never there because he was just so in love with football.
Well, Lee, it sounds like you want to take more shots at the man and not the coach.
No. Because my response to that was, you get this life you live because I love football more than I love your mom and you. Okay. like, let's be honest. There are people who love what they do more than they love their family. I think it's way more normal than we say it is.
Well, it's apparent by the time that's given, right? And it doesn't mean that that's necessarily true because you give a lot of time. I wholeheartedly, for instance, believe that Kobe Bryant, and I'm not just bringing him up because I'm a big fan, but I do wholeheartedly believe he loved his girl. Like he loved you could tell.
But
even though he spent all of his time in the gym.
No. Before the Achilles, I think he loved basketball more. Just like I think for a large portion of LeBron's career, he's loved basketball more. I think if you are a top 1%er in something that's not your family,
mm-hmm.
you love that thing more. And you're just hoping that the love that you have for your family or your loved ones, whoever you want to love, it's enough love for them.
Right.
Right? Like I'm telling you, as not to go too deep, but there are things that I would give more time to and I was more passionate about on a day-to-day. But you just are hoping that like what you have left is enough for somebody else if they don't become the top thing. So you work everything else around them. You know what I'm saying? It's
No,
real.
absolutely. I agree with what you're saying. I guess what I'm trying to say that like I can see it with Herb just because of what type of person he does appear to be on the surface. I mean, we don't know these people, but like
COCK.
yeah, you could tell a guy like him, you know, he's a sleazy motherfucker. So like, yeah, he loved football more than he loved his daughter. Just like a guy like Dennis Rodman liked to party more than he loved his kid. Clearly.
And she still turned out to be a
Successful athlete. Yeah, exactly. And
I
granted,
don't agree with her boyfriend of choice.
who's her boyfriend?
Not me.
Huh. Okay. Now, but a guy like Dennis too could come out and say, "Well, thank me for your athletic ability and the genetics and the idea that you got this from me being a freak." But again, that's something that somebody could look at a guy like Dennis Rodman and say that might be some shit that he would actually say.
She grew up poor, apparently.
Yeah, but she got her size and stuff ultimately from him.
I mean, and her dad could say, and this is kind of messed up, but it's real. It's real. But you're okay now.
Well, and I put you in a position where you had to grind it as opposed to just it being given. No nepotism here.
No. They don't love me enough for you to get nepotism. You're probably better off having my last name, but very little association with me, because they'll give you they'll say, okay, she's athletic.
And that's a unique last
Very
name
unique
too. Yeah. Because when you think of the name Rodman, he's the first person you think of. So,
yeah. I mean, I think of Trinity personally.
Right.
I lied.
Yeah, sure. sure you did. But no, I think that a guy like Herb coming out and saying this, it's kind of a baseless comment. And of course he has to throw Florida in there. Herb just needs to get back to coaching and stop talking about ball. But then again, the check is probably way easier. He gets to sit up and talk with who? Matt Leinart and Reggie Bush, basically.
I don't watch that show.
He works 15 weeks out of the year. He's probably clearing 2 commas, right? You would think he gets 2 commas to do it.
Herb doesn't leave his house for anything long term for less than 2 commas.
That's what I'm saying. And he's still probably getting paid. He has to still be getting paid by Amir Khan.
And he probably has some bullshit job that's like at Ohio State as like a consultant. So he just gets a smooth 250, 500 or some shit like that every year just to cover expenses.
Well, yeah, basically to add to expenses. It's really a write-off for the school.
Well, you know how some back when Love and Hip Hop started, there were some people who you might see on Love and Hip Hop who you felt like, dang, I feel like they're a little too rich for this. But then you realize they're doing fine. But this is like a free 500 for the house because both Kirk and Rashida can get a little 250 here.
Yeah.
Then it builds up their business empire because you're putting it on TV. So I don't really need this money, but I get this publicity. Because Love and Hip Hop is weird. There's has-beens. There's people who are like has-been as far as the music goes, but they're doing fine in business. Yeah. And then there's like people who started trying to come up, and that's when it got weird outside of Cardi B.
Well, because she was the first example of it too, for what it's worth.
Bro, Cardi B moves units. Real quick, I saw something on one of the blogs saying, oh, Cardi B must be something because she had some popular feminine care product like outside of her, like on her tub, where she took a picture, and I go, she moves so many units that's a brand deal. That's an unsponsored post, and they're shopping it as if she just happened to take this picture, and it's going to drive so much revenue towards that brand, and so much revenue towards those damn blogs. She's never going to make another album, bro.
That's not what she says, but again, maybe she wants to be the modern day Lauryn Hill in terms of how that worked out for her. She dropped one album, lived off of it for forever, won the best hip hop album. So did Cardi, because Cardi was second, right? Because what's her face now is third, Doechii.
I sure. Yo, Cardi B, her butt doesn't move like a BBL butt.
I like it. I mean, obviously, I like
Oh,
it.
like-
We know who we voted to win the BBL Madness bracket, so
She didn't win, did she?
she did win. That is
Okay.
that's exactly who we picked to win.
Okay, good.
No.
No, I thought Bernice
No,
won.
maybe it was no. I picked Cardi. I
Yeah.
think Justice was the tiebreaker. You guys picked Bernice to win.
Yeah.
You guys wanted the LeBron James of the game.
Instead
Just
of
longevity. It's been there long enough now to where her daughter is in the game and she's still playing at a high level.
bro, she's worth 80 mil, like off one album. But like, no,
But she's a personality.
hold
too.
on, real quick. Back to the smut, real quick. She still like has the dents in her ass.
She's a stripper, man, or ex-stripper.
I mean, I'm just saying, you know, some of the women you think that they like get that stuff contoured out or what, when you see the G-string BBLs, it's like, oh wow, this butt like has no deformities at all.
Yeah.
You can still see the cellulite through the pants on that one video I sent you.
Yeah. that one video that you sent me.
I didn't have to do that, did I?
You didn't, but that's okay. We're glad that you did. It always adds more to the program.
Bro, how do we end up on Cardi B's ass from UT?
The power of the big T.
Power of the big B.
Yeah.
Oh,
BBL. Yeah. But regardless,
Van Lit's Sports Center photo shoot or Sports Illustrated photo shoot.
You did not, or you might have, but I've seen it. I've seen it. Yeah. Look, I'm a big fan of HVL, not just because of her game and her looks, of course, but yeah, it is because of her game and her looks. More so her looks. But nice pickup though. Nice pickup for Chicago.
I mean, she's barbecue chicken if she start game one.
Oh yeah. Well, it'll just be a flashback. It'll bring her a little PTSD from what was that? The Final Four, or that was an Elite Eight game.
Well, it was LSU and Louisville.
Oh yeah, because I guess she's played her more than once. But
yeah, she dogged her twice.
But specifically that year, the year when LSU was trying to repeat, that was an Elite Eight game, I believe. I don't think it was a Final Four. I think that was an Elite Eight game.
I think so too.
Yeah.
But you remember she did the "You Can't See Me" in the Louisville game.
Louisville. Yeah.
Real quick, when they talked about the ratings from the women's Final Four last year to this year, and some people were like, well, if Juju would have played, it would have been higher. Here's the difference. Juju and Paige have just an on-court rivalry because they've played against each other a few times in big games. But they're not rivals. Like, they're not going at it with each other. There's no, like, they're not, bro, they just hoop. Paige don't be doing none of the extra. Juju don't do none of the extra. So they're just not as interesting.
Right.
But I would say, like, as a combo 2-on-2, they're better at basketball than Caitlin and Angel.
Right.
I mean, I still think Paige is the better basketball player of the three.
Really?
Yeah.
Hmm.
Like Paige can play on and off the ball, and I don't know how it's gonna. I don't know how much of it we will see because she's playing next to Enrique, who is like a mellow type.
Maybe the best, maybe
Bucket.
the biggest bucket, low key.
But she's like a mellow type bucket. It's not always efficient.
Yeah.
You know, she'll be 9 for 27 with 32. But like Paige had to play in Gino's system and play team ball, but like, I don't know, man. She got them shoulders, man.
Well, it'll be interesting to see how it ends up turning out. Them playing side by side. They also, who did they add? They added somebody else though too, because they got rid of Satu Sabli. I know that
they got Dejanay Carrington.
Yeah, from not UConn, but from Connecticut.
Yes, my favorite lesbian.
Really?
Yeah.
Favorite.
She got me at Baylor, man. She got hurt in the national championship game, the hammy, and that's the reason why they lost.
Sound like you're making up excuses, Lee.
No. She was like their best defender, and then
I get what you're saying. I'm just saying, it sounds like you're making up excuses because she's your favorite lesbian. You know.
I'm just a fan of her.
Okay.
I like the way she plays ball. I like the way she carries herself. Outside of her and Angel Reese talking on the podcast, just talking about payment. Speaking of, we're here. Did you hear Angel Reese and Blueface's baby mama, who's now saved?
Krishan Rock.
There we go. Yes, her. You hear her say that like Angel Reese does the same thing as LeBron, so she should get paid the same.
Yeah, I've seen these, nonsense takes.
Hold on, before you finish, an Angel Reese response. Period.
Lee, I'm all about who moves the units. Shawty Lowe had an album called Units in the City, right? You remember that album?
Yes.
Okay. I guess I would need to know how many units she's moving. LeBron James is arguably, some could argue, maybe the biggest basketball player ever.
The nigga's top 5 in jersey sales every year, even if he don't change his number or his team for 4 years in a row.
There's that, but at the same time, he's LeBron James. And the reason why I said he might be the biggest ever is because a guy like Jordan didn't play during social media. LeBron did. LeBron's got memes for days. I know Jordan's got some too, but like LeBron's
Taco Tuesday is now synonymous with LeBron and not real Taco Tuesday.
Yeah.
Like if a nigga say, hey, you trying to get Taco Tuesday? More times than not, someone's gonna be like, Taco Tuesday, even if they just being funny.
The Migos made a whole fucking song off of it and used his soundbite to introduce it.
The nigga has a Ken doll.
Yeah, there's that too. Don't you think that that's a little weird, by the way, how that doll comes out after everybody starts using AI to make dolls of like everything? Because that started before they introduced it.
Oh, I didn't know.
I don't know. I just thought it was a little weird, but
probably a great marketing campaign. My LeBron Ken doll theory is they're trying to get our young black men to play with Barbie dolls.
You don't think it's the opposite, that they want to get young women to watch more NBA?
I like that one better. That was me just pulling some of that Dr. Umar shit. You know the niggas who walk around in dashikis and ankhs and sandals and don't use the N word or deodorant. You know
Yes.
that from Morehouse.
Yeah.
Philosophy major ass nigga.
Yeah, philosophy major, scraggly beard if he can grow one. He might wear a kufi.
Then you see that nigga 10 years later and he's a fucking investment banker.
Hey, he's buttoned all the way up.
Shaves, clean cut, fucking raping and pillaging people to make money.
Yeah.
Hey, bro, what happened to all that? Power to the people.
That sounds about right. That sounds about the story that we hear. By the way, Joe is ready whenever you are.
Tell them to tap in. Tap in. You get Joe ready, and I'm gonna go get me a shot of this Deep Eddies.
Ugh.
I'm not drinking Deep Eddies.
All right. I was hoping you were using that just to rhyme. I said I was hoping you were using that just to rhyme.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
I was trying to sound like the rappers in the 80s, like Kumo D and them, the ones they try to tell me is like fire.
So you don't want to be Slick Rick the Ruler.
I'm jumping in the cab because I left the lab.
Thrills and pills with the gills of chills. Nigga.
Oh, bro, that shit is so terrible. Bro, that old school rap is trash.
Yeah. Maybe we could add that as a little part of it too here on the end when we get segment. But
Let me go get my shot.
Yeah, go get your shit.
Big T.
But to set ourselves up here for the next segment, that was a little bit of football. We didn't even really get into football the way that we wanted, but that's okay. We will have plenty of time next week to introduce the football and get into football and get that figured out, especially with the NFL draft coming up here in the next couple of weeks. But basically, for this next segment that we're going to have, we've got Hawks insider Josiah Fowler getting ready to join us and come into the studio and give us his take on the Hawks' performance yesterday to go along with previewing the NBA playoffs, because believe it or not, guys, it is here. It is upon us. Basically, it's upon thee. And then we've also got this Heat game. Looks like it's over. It's a 14-point game right now, but for the most part, that game is over. So now we know who the Hawks are going to face. So it'll be interesting to ask and pick his brain on what he feels and thinks is going to be the Hawks' outcome, because I think we would all agree that the Hawks have overachieved this year. Wouldn't you say? I think that they have.
You know, it's so crazy you say that. Yes. I was listening to Cowherd earlier today, and they talked about Trey crashing out at the end of the game. And part of the conversation was, 4 years ago when Trae Young led the Hawks to the Eastern Conference Finals, it was this and that. But now, what's up, Joe?
What's going on? What's going on?
How we doing, guys? We got Josiah Fowler in the building, repping the Hawks. Woo!
Repping the Hawks, man. Disappointed, but I'm repping them.
Hey, man, happy to have you here. And I was just talking about some stuff I heard on some national sports talk, right? And I really hate the way that Atlanta is covered nationally, because they don't watch Atlanta sports at all,
Sorry.
And they were talking about Trae Young and how he's been a disappointment over the last few years. And I go, no, you haven't watched the Hawks. The roster hadn't been right, and he overachieved post Jalen Johnson injury because we were the Pistons before Jalen Johnson got hurt. And with the additions that we made that are a bit more complimentary and don't care about stats as much, I think we would have been a 6-ish even if Jalen Johnson doesn't get hurt. Trae Young isn't the problem. Is my overall point. He's not the problem.
He elevated the play of guys like Risha Shea and Dyson Daniels. And obviously, you got plenty of good value to come out of it naturally, right? Like, we talked about this at length, how it felt so weird them just getting rid of
Hunter.
no, not even Hunter. I'm talking about for the Dyson Daniels trade.
DeJounte.
Yeah, getting rid of DeJounte, and it felt like, gosh, they gave us some picks kind of back, I guess, to recoup just a little bit, and then a ham sandwich is what it kind of felt like. But I wasn't familiar with Dyson Daniels' game. But at the same time, I also feel like a guy like Trey elevated his play, certainly offensively at least, because you've got somebody that can square up and shoot. And then same thing with Ricochet. You know, not that the talent maybe wasn't there, but them getting rid of Hunter, of course, helped open that up even more for a guy like Ricochet, because they knew that was what was going to be next. That, hey, we can move on from him because we want this guy to get more time because he is the future at that position to begin with.
It's a few things that I think that when I've been talking to my brother, a few of my friends about this, just like to reassess like the game yesterday. I don't think Quinn did a good job. I'm a Quinn truther. But as time has really gone on, I think Quinn heavily mishandled that game yesterday. I know that. I mean, we had to play Mo Gay. I like Mo Gay a lot. Mo Gay has been essentially our best big defender this whole season. As he played, like the one thing about the Hawks rotation, which is the toughest thing, is that we don't have consistent shooting amongst our best players. It's like if you look at Trey, even though Trey should shoot a higher clip, but Trey shoots a lot of tough shots because Trey is short. Trey is exerting so much energy of trying to like run around, get other people open, different things like that, and he's just shooting all the time with the ball in his hand. Because if you really like watch the Hawks, you see when Trey get a lot of catch and shoot opportunities, he's making them at 40% or higher clip, which. Like Trey is one of the better shooters in the league, but he just has to shoot with the ball in his hand so much that it just doesn't reflect it. But missing Larry Nance, missing Capella honestly hurt the Hawks a lot yesterday. Especially with a big team like that. You got to play Dom Barlow, which I mean, he's just an athlete, but he's lost. Like there was a play when Hawks was down 7 in the fourth quarter where he played the craziest drop coverage I've ever seen in my life, left Cole Anthony open for a 3. At that point, I'm like, man, it's over. But, I mean, I think he's mishandled Ricochet a little bit. Because if you go look at Ricochet minutes per game, it fluctuates. And I just think that, like, yeah, I get you got to roll with players who are playing better at that time, but you also drafted a number 1. You need to have him in those moments where it's high stakes.
And he has the confidence because it was a 3 that he missed yesterday where game was close and he's getting in his bag. And I'm like, this is a terrible 3. He shot it and he missed it short. And I go, I like that though. I want you to take that terrible 3 and miss it short because that tells me you pull that 3 and you make it, but you're comfortable.
Yeah.
And with Dyson Deck, again, I don't think the Hawks can build a championship team with the way they're constructed. Like it's not set up for championship. We're talking about another Joe Johnson-esque run, right? Little 4 seed, 5 seed, maybe we get hot. But Dyson Daniels is the perfect 2 guard for Trae Young.
Yes.
He plays defense, and he can get 20 off of Trae when you need it. Ricochet, I wish he was in year 2 right now.
Yeah.
I wish we're getting year 3 Ricochet next year because I think he can score 22, 23. Like just off of just being there. You know what I mean? Just because he can shoot it, dog. He's a big shooter.
And you'll have 2 different guys that can distribute the ball around. Jalen Johnson's an excellent passer.
Obviously, he's a passer too.
Yeah, and obviously Trey leads the league in the assists. Feels like almost every year. Certainly, he's in the top 3. Yeah, I think that what they're building is nice. They do need there's gonna have to be a point in time where they're gonna need another guy. Either that or Jalen Johnson's gonna have to be even more than what he was this year, like next year. He'll almost have to take another step, which
he's gonna have to be 27.
Wow.
I'm here to say that I think he's the best player on the team.
In different aspects, yeah, he is. But then again, like he just don't garner the attention that Trey gets. Trey comes around half court, he's getting blitzed by two people. Trey gets guarded so crazy, and only other person you really see gets guarded like him is like Steph and maybe Shea, like because Trey's so dynamic with his court vision, crafty, like that you know that he can one-on-one he might kill whoever. But then one-on-one, I also see Trey struggle if he's not getting the screen. It's a lot. I've been going through my emotions these last 24 hours, really. But
I don't think you can truly evaluate Trey if you've never watched him in person.
Yeah.
Because if you're just watching it on TV, if you're watching highlights, and you're not in the arena to understand like some of those stupid bad shots he takes, it's him controlling the game. They're on a run. I need this to get us going, or we're killing right now. I'm trying to put the dagger in them. So if I step back 30-foot three, they're dead. And when it works, it works. But I mean, the guy plays at the basket at 5'11". Is Trey Young, and maybe this is my Atlanta bias, is Trey Young like one of the most slept on superstars of our life? Like the nigga is 25-10 since he joined the league.
Yeah.
He's definitely underappreciated. And I don't know what it is, but there does seem to be some sort of hate given to him. And I think even on Twitter, I had seen recently, somebody made a really good point. He's never had an all-star teammate. And when I say all-star teammate, I mean a teammate that was an all-star in the same season as him.
Never.
Yeah, he played with DeJounte Murray, who's made an all-star team. Yeah, he played with, I think somebody put up a picture, it was like Vince Carter. I'm like, yeah, it's like stupid as fuck. Yeah.
He played with Jeff Teague.
Right, exactly. Yeah. And so it's definitely something that isn't talked about enough. And you know, some people get the notion. I know that it felt like earlier in his career, and I think you had sent me a video of Lou Will talking about it, but him being a selfish player, which it's hard to be a selfish player if you fucking lead the league in assists. That's hard to try and pull off and tell me that's an oxymoron, right? Like that doesn't make any sense in reality.
Especially when you could go for 30 every night and you're choosing not to.
He needs to be more efficient though. It's a lot. Like I mean, I watch especially since Trey's been in the league. I've watched at least 85 to 90% of the Hawks games. So I've seen a lot. I just wish he could get back to when he averaged 45, shot 45% from the field, 38 from three. Like if Trey could get back to that, he would be more regarded as like he wouldn't be as slept on. Because people like they'll see the Trey having the high assist totals, but then be like, oh man, he just shot 6 for 16. Like, oh man, he just shot 7 for 20, but then had 11 free throws. But he's shooting 40 from the field, 34 from three, different things like that. That's my biggest gripe with him too. I do think he is slept on because people are just box score watchers. They just watch a box score. They see that a person lose and they think it's empty stats. I'm like, it's not really empty when a person has a positive plus minus. He can't help what happens when he's on the bench. So a lot of times it's really not even that empty. But like Trey just gets guarded crazy too. He's definitely slept on. But back to what you had also said about Jalen Johnson has to take another step. I think Dyson and Reza Shea has to take more of a step than Jalen, though, for sure.
I agree that they would have to take more of one, but I guess in terms of for them to be a legitimate team that can be
A Cavaliers.
yeah, like a title. I'm not gonna say necessarily, oh, they're a top 5 favorite out in Vegas or something, but like that team that where you're like, don't sleep on them being this is a sneaky team that really can make that type of noise, right?
55.
Basically, kind of pick up where you were in 2021, right? Like kind of pick up where you left off there. I feel like Jalen Johnson, you have to have both of those guys have to be all-stars, right? Like they have to, and they don't, and not literally voted in as all-stars,
Yeah,
but I'm saying their level of play, they've got to both be all-stars. You need Dyson Daniels to continue doing what he's doing, certainly on the defensive end, but then take that step as a shooter or something, right?
Yeah.
Like a guy that can knock down those open shots. Because again, you've got 2 guys that can facilitate, one big, one small. Both guys can play out of their fucking ass. Then you have Arisa Shea, right? Who's having these big games. He's not even taking dribbles to get this, right? He's cutting to the basket. He's catching and shooting. Can he become more consistent? To me, I like the depth that the Hawks have. And I killed the DeAndre Hunter trade. I really did. I thought it was fucking awful.
I thought it was good.
Tried to ship him out for the last 3 years.
But why do it when he's finally playing his most consistent season of basketball?
It's still high.
Yeah, and that's understandable, but I felt like the pieces they got back weren't high pieces. Like, I didn't feel like Gorgeous Niang and Karis LeVert were, and it was nothing against, like, I knew Karis LeVert could play, but, like, considering that he was basically a 20-a-night guy, you already had paid him, which now his contract looks a little better than when they initially gave it to him, but I don't know. I didn't like the way that they did it. I feel like they could have got more, even if they had waited until this offseason. But again, they probably wanted to develop Arisa Shea more. But like you said, too, Quinn's maybe fucking up the lineup just a little bit, too, because you've got a guy like Arisa Shea not getting the consistent 30 minutes a game type of minutes on the court.
I need to know I'm getting my minutes and my shots. But you know the real problem with the Atlanta Hawks? It's the fucking city of Atlanta. We can't get free agents because oftentimes high-end free agents are married. Atlanta is the fun city, not the live-in city.
Well, the motherfuckers move here later.
Yeah, that's after they're done playing and they've been retired for a while and they got divorced. And now they got to leave LA because it costs too much. And they still want to live a good life, so they come to Atlanta. But it's serious. I was listening to one of them player podcasts, and they were trying to recruit Rudy Gay to come to Atlanta 1 year as a free agent. He was like, my wife, man, she
Yeah, I didn't even know that, but
yeah, but just think about it. If you're an NBA player,
it makes sense.
especially if you play in the East, you're coming to Atlanta twice a year just to hoop. You do that over about 8 years, your off seasons, your single years. You got you a little Atlanta piece down here that's always here that your NBA wife knows about, but don't ask about, don't care about.
Yeah.
Now you're saying I'm gonna move to Atlanta.
Looks spooky. Looks spooky.
No, it's hard. Atlanta's a hard city to be in a committed relationship in if you move around.
That's fair. I never thought about that, but no, I mean, yeah, that's definitely right. Yeah, I mean, Hawks just gonna have to. I mean, as much as I like Reza Shea, it was just a tough year to have the number one. That's really what it was.
It was the worst year to have it.
I like Reza. I like what Reza Shea can be. I definitely want to see him more aggressive with the ball in his hand. Because I don't think he has a good handle. He doesn't have a good handle. I don't think he really trusts himself really driving in, like sizing up a person and like getting to the rim. I think he's more of a like catch the ball on the wing quick and make a quick decision, drive in on somebody. That's more of his game.
He French.
You said what?
He French.
Yeah, facts.
Them niggas ain't aggressive.
He's not.
Wemby
going-
ain't aggressive. He fine, but he's not aggressive.
Yeah.
Well, what about Rudolph? You don't think he bangs down low?
Bro, the only French niggas that really like play physical nigga ball are the Africans, like Yabusele, not the mixed niggas. Like Giannis, he Greek, right? Giannis is a nigga though. He ain't mixed.
Yeah.
And I just think that they don't have that. They don't play basketball in that same physical aggressive way.
I blame Tony Parker.
Why you say
Tony
that?
Parker fucked his
He
team.
set the precedence for these niggas. All right.
And Tony
He
was with-
cheated on Eva Longoria with his teammate's wife. He's a sleazeball.
No, he's crazy. He's crazy. Yeah. Tony
I get it. If you get Eva Longoria, you can cheat on her. But your teammate's wife?
How
Hey
do you
man,
get to that point?
D-Fish, Matt Barnes. Look, this nothing new under the sun.
Hey, but hey.
They weren't current teammates at that point.
They weren't
No,
current.
they were still teammates. Period. They were
At
still
one-
teammates at one point.
And Fish got the beats put on him too. And
Hey,
then had
he
to turn around and coach them boys in high school. He went from an NBA coach to a WNBA coach to coaching his step boys. And he better not take them out the game because he know what happened when he get to the locker room.
Coaching the step boys.
He's still with her though.
Still with them. They married.
I don't think Matt cares about being with her based on his current or ex-fiance.
Yeah, he was tripping too. Yeah. Yeah, she came out crying.
Yo, how you gonna be like? Let's think about it. Him and his baby moms, right? And not personal to them. How you gonna be running around on your baby moms, be done with her, and then put the beats on her new man?
I mean, I think it's circumstantially why, and that's why he beat him up, or wanted to beat him up.
Nah, they say he beat him up. Apparently, Gil was on the phone with him, and he told the story.
Yeah, they both had told it. They crazy.
Imagine being with your shorty, and her ex just pull up at the barbecue,
Jump the fence.
unbeknownst to you, because that nigga is off doing something that he ain't supposed to leave. He on business. He just show up at the crib, jump the gate, and just walk in the house and start swinging.
I'm sure if you could be a fly on the wall for a situation like that.
Yes.
But look, either way, this Heat game looks like it's just about wrapped up. Hawks Heat. What are your predictions, Joe? What do you think is going to happen at State Farm on Friday?
I mean, I think I had told you. I didn't feel confident that the Hawks was going to win either game. I didn't feel good about how the Hawks ended the season, even though they technically ended the season on a 3-game win streak, but it was against the Sixers, the Nets, and then the Magic when they both sat everybody.
Yeah. Before
that, the Hawks was probably like 5-11 in their last 16 games, something wild like that. I think, it's just a team that plays a slower pace. You have to
just like Orlando.
Just like Orlando. If you can get Miami off their pace, you just have to control the game. If they can't control the game, they won't win. Last time the Hawks played the Heat, which was within the last month, from what I remember, they got whooped. They were down by 20 early, like in the third quarter, ended up losing by like 8. But, it was like garbage time minutes coming back. And I don't know. I don't really have that much faith in the Hawks to win it. I just think I need the rotations to be correctly. I don't want to see Don Barlow win the game. We don't have to try to play big against them because they only play really 2 bigs. So I need Vit Krejci to get more minutes.
You fucking love this guy.
Bro, he shot 44% from 3. It's tough having people that's not in rotation that's not shooting a high clip. Like that's always been the Hawks' biggest problem. The players who played the most that was in their rotation was never the best shooters outside of Bogey. Like we had Garrison Matthews who wasn't playing. Garrison Matthews shot 47 from three, came in the season out the rotation, which I get it. It's only so many people you can play outside of like what the Grizzlies was doing this year. So I mean, yeah,
Or the Utah Jazz, they do it too. And
Utah
they've got the worst
played
record in the NBA, but I'm
Exactly.
just saying, another team that runs a like fucking 10, 11 players a game.
They play a lot, bro. They play a lot.
Hey, Will Hardy's a great NBA coach, though.
I like
his ass should have been fired yesterday.
Nah, you got to give him a chance. You got to give him a chance.
They've gotten worse every year, and he's been there 3 years.
They're not trying to get good, though.
You've got a pretty good player at guard there that you don't let play enough minutes. It's just weird to me, but
he might win games. You got to understand, this guy, Danny, he wants Coop and he wants AJ. Like, he wants AJ DeBanza to have a less than stellar college season so he can drop into the top 5. So he can have back-to-back shitty years and the ping pong balls might work for him. Because the NBA would kill to get Utah good again. That's a good All-American white city that nobody goes to. Yeah, I know it's a state, and I called it the city. Same thing. Nobody goes.
It's one of those sports towns that's got that one thing.
Yes.
Their niche is shit. Yeah.
But you got to understand, Danny is behind the NIL to get AJ DeBanza. To BYU.
To BYU. Right, yeah. No, I knew that he's one of the donors for sure. Yeah.
James Wiseman was ineligible because Penny was his high school coach, AAU coach, before he was a college coach and gave him some bread. But apparently, Danny can just fucking feed this nigga some money and then likely draft him.
Well, that program doesn't have anything to do with the Jazz.
Tomato. Tomato. Yeah. I hope he get Ace Bailey out there in Utah because that's going to be a fucking shit show for them.
Sick.
Yeah, they won't. They're not going to win too many games. But and then Lee, what would you say? What are your thoughts on? What do you think the Hawks are going to do against the Heat?
They'll probably win for no reason and then get swept by Cleveland. Maybe 5.
That's what I think. I actually think that they're going to win the game, and it's not just because of the home court advantage, but like, if you remember a few years ago, they beat the Heat in a play-in game. The year the Heat went to
finals,
the fucking NBA Finals. Yeah, they beat them in the play-in in Miami with playoff Jimmy.
Jimmy's playoff run.
My expectation is, just because I know how these Hawks playoff games go, especially when they're the home games, they typically come out and they shoot the 3-wheel. They'll end up shooting over 50% or something crazy from 3. Gorgeous Niang will have fucking like 24 points on 8 of 10 from 3 type shooting. Like so. That's what's gonna. But we know how that works in that arena because that is how these games typically go for them. I expect the Hawks to win, and then I think they'll get one from Cleveland just because. I mean, I know Jalen Johnson played in a couple of those games that they did win, but remember they were the first team to beat them this year, and they beat them like on back-to-back nights, I think.
Yeah, it was back-to-back.
I expect them to be able to get one. They should get just even if it's a gentleman's sweep type thing. They're down 3-0 and like they just went on some bullshit late in the game. Like Trey has a 35-16 in like 4 game.
Hey, let's talk about
Kombu somehow dominates the boards. Like something like that's got to happen.
We've got to get a better big man than a 6'7" guy. I like him. I think he's a good NBA player, but you got Jokic out there. This who you lining up at center. Like he cool against Bam, but like against a real footer, he's nothing. But again, let's talk about the real NBA, not the real NBA, excuse me, the more popular NBA. Parlay Pete, do you want to start on playoff shit or do you want to just kick shit on some NBA season ending? What are our thoughts on the season?
I wanted to go ahead. Let's go ahead and get into these series real quick, and we can just everybody quickly here, just summarize kind of what it is that they think. But I'm going to go through the series and kind of the way that Vegas has it set up. And then I'm going to eventually, once we finish that, give everybody my picks. Because then we will actually finally have a six-pack. Because this is something that we can get out before the playoffs start. But we'll start off with, to me, probably the most intriguing series. You got the Clippers and the Nuggets. Clippers are coming into the series as a favorite, minus 130 to Denver's plus 110. Might end up being the most entertaining series of the first round. Me personally, I think the Clippers are going to win because I just think that they're a better team. You got a disarray Nuggets team, no Mike Malone. Like the way that kind of just ended is a little weird. And I'll give a team like Memphis credit for how they fought yesterday because I thought that they were going to bow out, and maybe the Nuggets will do the same. But the Clippers are ultimately playing better. They are better. And, Jokic might be the best player on the floor, but then the second, third, and fourth best player play for the Clippers. So I like the Clippers to get it done, but with the home court advantage, I do think that it goes 7. I do think it's going to go 7, but I just expect the Clippers to win that series.
Clips and 6.
I like Clips too. I like Clips in at least 6.
Hey, Rashad McCants said that Joker and Russell Westbrook are the best duo in the West.
He's crazy, but I think they're a good duo. I just think that I don't know.
They've been cutting Russ's minutes anyways since Malone got fired. So well,
yes, he's not playing anymore because
Christian Brown's been playing. He's been playing pretty good. But Porter's kind of tailed off, it felt like, for me here at the end of the year. And maybe that's because I had him on my fantasy team and I would just look up and I'm like, man, he's not really shooting the ball like that. But
he just had to bring that shit up, didn't he?
Yeah, for the most part.
Win a little league. He win a league. He just got to say, well, he's on my fantasy team.
He shouldn't have won. But
I did. And look, hey, it's a war of attrition, baby. Everybody's got to be able to make those moves when the time is right. And this time it was me that did it,
I guess.
Look, last man standing, Joe. Last man standing.
We don't have to go into it. I'm mad. But
look, guys like Zubac really came in, which is another reason why I like the Clippers a lot. Like
Zoo was good.
Who was it, Lee, that you sent? You sent something. Somebody picked him to be Defensive Player of the Year.
Bontemps, I believe.
I don't know.
One of those ESPN students.
Look, he averaged 2 blocks a game, but I don't think he's the Defensive Player of the Year. Dyson Daniels, by the way, because we didn't really say that before we moved on, he honestly should win Defensive Player of the Year. He's not going to, but he really should be the Defensive Player of the Year. I don't know how he doesn't get it.
The Hawks didn't win enough games, so how can he be the Defensive Player of the Year?
Because he was the best defender in the NBA this year, especially with Wemby. Once Wemby was ineligible and it became anyone's award, you had the random Draymond Green stuff come up, where he became the favorite at one point. Then Evan Mobley, I guess, was already kind of always in it, and so was Dyson. But to me, Dyson has proven to be the best defender in the league. He's not just the best perimeter defender. He's the best defender in the fucking league. Like,
what about
really
Lou Dort?
is.
Bill Simmons says he's voting for Lou Dort.
See, and that's another one of those things where you start just throwing guys in because they're on the quote unquote, our best record in the NBA at least. And you have to feel like, even though most people think SGA is not the MVP, but that's another story for another day too. You just start throwing guys in to get awards. You remember the year the Sixers went to the NBA Finals with Allen Iverson? I think that they almost had a clean sweep of awards that year. Aaron McKee was Sixth Man of the Year. AI won MVP. Mutombo was Defensive Player of the Year.
Larry Brown. Coach.
Larry Brown's Coach of the Year. I don't know who won Most Improved. Maybe it wasn't somebody on the Sixers. But regardless, they almost swept the awards, and then they got gentlemen swept by Kobe, Shaq, and Phil.
But we got an amazing meme, GIF, image of AI stepping over Tyloo.
Great.
We did. I watched that game. I remember watching that game as a kid.
I bet you did.
AI went crazy that night.
He had
insane.
Dropped like 49.
Yeah.
It's like the most in the debut ever in the NBA Finals.
And they won in LA.
Did you watch
the Lakers hadn't lost a playoff game until that game.
Yeah, 16-1 day old one.
Did you watch the game with your knee pads on?
That's a good one, Lee. Yeah. I had my helmet on as well. I mean,
well, I didn't.
I had a brace for impact.
I didn't know you were a helmet guy because I don't think those types of jokes are funny.
Oh, that's a good one, Lee. Real classy, Lee. Real classy.
Hey,
Yeah.
Big T.
Well, the power of the Big T. But moving along, with speaking of the Lakers, we get a Lakers Timberwolves first round series. I think that's going to be the series that everybody is going to want to watch the most. It's not going to be the best one because that Nuggets Clippers is going to be the best series, but a lot of intrigue there. You got Ant-Man, you got Bron, you got Luka. You got the history of Minneapolis Lakers to go on with it. I mean, there's a lot of story to like here. Gobert, Randall. There's a lot to like about the series. I think the Lakers, they can do it at 5. It's going to go 6, though. I think they'll win at 6.
Dumpster dive, arrive alive, 5 for 5.
Lakers in 5.
I think y'all sleeping on the Timberwolves. I'm gonna be honest. I think that's going to be the best series. My bad. But yeah, I think that's going to be the best series. Honestly, I see the Lakers. Yeah.
Do you think it's going to go 7?
Timberwolves ended the season in such a great record, although their strength of schedule was very low. But I think they won a lot of games that they should have won, except from like a back-to-back to a Pacers, back-to-back to the Pacers. But I got friends that live in Minnesota, so I talk to them about Minnesota ball a lot. I just think that they can play them. I mean, they can play them. I think that it's really just going to depend on how much Austin Reeves get off, really. Because I think Ant going to get his. I think Julius, in the role that they have Julius playing, which is more of a facilitator, second facilitator, just make the right passes. He really bought into that role. I think that it's going to be fine. DiVincenzo is going to play like DiVincenzo from last year. He's going to fire. Yeah, I think it's going to come to the bench. And really, if Rudy gets played off the court or not, if Rudy gets played off the court, then it's a wrap.
Well. You know who the Lakers got? 77. You know, him and Rudy, they kind of got this thing where if Luka ever needs to get going, you know, some players, they go try to get fouled so they can make a free throw. He comes down. Hey, pick and roll. Come here. Bring Rudy. Bring Rudy. Hey, look, you gonna pick until he switch. You are picking until he switch. Hey, if he don't switch, reset other side. Yeah, no. We're gonna keep doing this until he switch. I need to get my rhythm back. That's how he talked to Rudy, to his face on the court.
I just don't understand how you can be that much of a DPOY and be a liability at the same time. But I mean,
because the media is stupid. They don't understand defense. Like, real basketball defense doesn't show up in the stat sheet because it's the pass that the guy didn't get. You know what I mean? It's the difficult shot that he may have made, but he knows he can't go back to because next time it's going to get blocked or ripped out. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
like,
him picking up his pivot foot and you're all over him and he can't see over you and he can't make a pass and he throws it to somebody else and somebody else gets the steal, but you're the one that caused the steal.
Right. Nigga, DPOY is blocks and rebounds, and I didn't know rebounding was a defensive stat.
Defensive rebounding.
Yeah.
It's defensive rebounding. You're boxing out. You're the one going for the ball. It's defense.
Bro, you watch the NBA. There's not a lot of offensive board crashers night to night. And a lot of rebounds are, bro, it's two niggas under the basket and they're both on defense. A lot of 5-out NBA. You know what I mean? So
yeah,
like
the ball just bounces in the right direction and you'll be there. And if you're fucking 7 feet and you got a 8-foot wingspan, you're gonna be able to you're gonna be able to cover a lot of radius from where the ball bounces.
Yeah. But Joe, back to your point, I think Ant's gonna get his, and I think the Lakers either have to commit to letting Ant get his and shut everything down, and maybe they switch it up game to game, or they blitz the shit out of Ant and say, "Hey, Julius Randle, beat us and be efficient."
They got to do that. That'll be the key. That'll be the key.
I don't see that shit. I think that the Lakers have the best trio in the NBA, and LeBron, of all people, and we have to look at it this way too. How many more opportunities is this man really going to have to win to try and catch Kobe?
Yeah.
Next year. Next year's going to be his best shot because they're going to get cheap free agents, and
they'll have a full year together.
And Bron can opt out, and the rumor is he'll take less. He's going to let them fill out the roster before he resigns.
He should do that, but I don't know. I think that I think if they beat the Timberwolves, I don't think they have to really worry about anybody else.
I agree. I like the
Timberwolves a lot.
If they play the Clippers in the West Finals, that will be something. I think it'll be something. That's a team that they would worry about. I don't worry about OKC, Houston, Golden State. Well, I know Denver's been their killer, but again, I don't think Denver's going to be. Let's say that they do. Denver is a wounded dog running around, squealing right now. That's really what's going on there.
It's a prize dog that got rabies, man. If it corners you, you're donezo. Yeah. But that clock is ticking. We just don't know when it's going to tick out. But you talk about the Clippers. Luka loves the Clippers. You know what I mean? He's a torpedo. He loves to hit the Clipper ship. And I think the advantage that we have to remember is LeBron gets the whistle. And as well as James Harden has played all year, we can't necessarily throw away his playoff resume. And I'm a James Harden truther. I think James Harden is an amazing basketball player. He doesn't get enough credit for how he has changed the game with the side steps and that double side step thing he does.
Yeah.
Like he doesn't get the credit for that, and being a nigga who's averaging like 35 and 8.
Crazy. He's insane.
He is not consistently in his prime. He was not consistently that in the playoffs. So what makes me believe he's going to be that post prime?
I mean, it's hard to put up 36 in the playoffs, especially when you're not playing the same teams that you were putting up your best games against. So the whistle different, all that. I think James Harden's going to be fine. I like the way his two-man game has been with Zubac. I mean, I've always liked Norman Powell. I was actually very upset the Hawks didn't try to get Norman Powell when Toronto traded him originally, just because I can see the type of player Norman Powell was. I like Norman Powell. Bogey's been shooting like 44% for them since he's been on the Clippers. Like
Kawhi's been playing 36 minutes a night. That is the biggest thing to me. Kawhi Leonard's healthy.
Kawhi's amazing, and yeah, I mean, I just think there's Chris Dunn's been playing great defense too. It's just a lot. Like
you mean former Hawk Chris Dunn, right?
Former Hawk Chris Dunn that didn't get his minutes, and we had yeah. So
hey, Maxi Kleber practiced today, full participant.
He don't need no minutes.
You put him out there on the perimeter. He could be a Gorgeous Niang, right?
I mean, he can, bro. That man ain't played has he even played this year?
No, he hasn't played, but still, you give him 10 minutes, he comes in for heat checks and stuff like that. When maybe you got a 7-point lead, but you're just trying to kind of increase that lead a little bit. I mean, we'll see. But on to the final series that they've got up, because we're not going to do any of the hypotheticals yet. We're going to go with what's up. You got the Golden State Warriors at the Houston Rockets. They said that this is only the second time in NBA playoff history since people were able to bet on series that the 7 seed has been favored over the 2. I bet you guys
over Memphis.
No, so that wasn't the series, because I was literally about to say, what did you think that the other one was? It was actually when the Lakers played the Suns. Do you remember that?
Yeah, because AD and LeBron had been hurt down the stretch, but they were good before that. And
They
AD
were
got
up.
hurt.
They were up 2-1, and AD got hurt in that third game, and then the Suns won 3 in a row.
And
That
they
was
went
the only
to
other
the
time that
finals.
there's been a 7 favorite over a 2.
And then they went to the finals, and they got rid of everybody who got them there, and now they're on fire.
Yeah, they're done. They're done. But Golden State minus 170, Houston plus 145. I'd like to think that Golden State's going to win. Obviously, that's kind of the consensus around there. That series is going to go longer maybe than I originally anticipated. Last night, the way that Golden State it looked, I was thinking, man, I was like, shit. If things go the right way, this could be over in 5 in reality. But I think that it'll go 6. But I do like Golden State. It's going to be a tough matchup for them if they don't get a guy like Kuminga involved, though, because they need that younger, athletic, size, somebody that can go out there and kind of be with Thompson on the floor. Like, they're going to need that because they don't really have – I guess Jimmy could be the guy, but, like, he's going to be shouldering so much. And people forget Jimmy is still 36. Steph's, 36 too? Like,
is Jimmy 36?
Yeah.
Them niggas old.
Here, we can fact check it.
It's 35, but still, yeah.
Yeah.
Jimmy is so fire, though.
Yeah.
And I don't even know what he does well offensively.
Man, they combined for like 40 free throws yesterday. 30-something free throws yesterday. That's crazy.
Hey, and 75 points, though.
Yeah. But that's not sustainable. Like you said, the Kuminga thing, they need Kuminga to step up,
He's got to.
I mean, they just have a whole bunch of high energy players, and that's just not. I mean, you just can't expect 2 people to carry your load.
That's crazy.
Yeah, I know. Hey, I was trying to ignore it, but yeah, that's crazy. I think. I mean, it's easy to pick Golden State just because they're the team that. I mean, we've seen Golden State. We've seen playoff Jimmy. It's so easy to pick them. But I just think that I need to see what Houston's rotation is game 1, really, before I'll be like, yeah, they can win or not. I don't want to go Golden State just because I just think 75 points is just
not gonna be able to do that consistently.
No, you're not. 30-something free throws. Jimmy shot 18. No, Steph shot 12. When did we see Steph shooting 12? Not seeing that. And that's the thing about it. Like, I love the sets that they run because Jimmy and Draymond are such willing passers. But I just think that if I did, I kind of want to go Houston. I like how Houston played that stretch. I want to go. I want to go Houston. Yeah, I want to go Houston. I want to go Houston in like 6.
Wow.
6. Yeah.
You think that they end them at the Chase? They don't call it. What do they call it?
I think it's Chase.
I know it's Chase Center, but I'm just saying they don't give it like a funky fucking nickname, right?
Because they lost their real fans when they moved over there.
Of course.
Big Tech got them.
Yeah. What says you, Lee?
I think the Warriors win it, but I don't say that confidently. If Houston gets out and gets running and they can maintain 12-point leads, they'll be fine. But if the games are tight, Warriors.
Let's go and say it.
I just can't. I mean, Kuminga's not playing, and we know why Kuminga's not playing. He didn't sign the deal, and then they could get Jimmy while he was hurt. So, big dog. Yeah, we're definitely going to suppress your market because if you go crazy in the playoffs, we're going to have to pay you. But, I just rooted. Here's the thing. I want Houston to win, kind of, sort of, because I want LeBron to send Ime Udoka packing. Because fuck Ime. I think Ime is a really good coach, but I think he suffers from like main character syndrome a little bit. because there's just too many rifts with him and star players. And it's like, Ime, you wasn't doing you was a hustle player as a player. Don't become a star off being the star coach who argues with star player. I don't know. I just don't like Ime Udoka.
Hey man, he's got a big ego. He was fucking staffers while Nia Long was at home with the kid. He's got that type of an ego, clearly. And so you know, let the man have something. He's getting his second chance. He's got a team that probably shouldn't be where they are currently.
No, he's a great coach. He's a top end coach in the league. I just think he's a fucking prick.
You know, he got guys in Boston taking credit for what would have been his title.
Oh God, fuck Joe Maz. Joe Maz might be the worst coach with a ring behind Doc Rivers in my fucking lifetime.
That's fair. I like that. I'm not a Doc fan at all. Houston's a really weird team to me because like if you look at their like field goal efficiency and all that, they were very inefficient. They just played great defense.
They are literally the new, I hate to say it like this, they're almost like the new Grizzlies. And I know Dylan Brooks obviously being there is the correlation, but Matt, talk about that. I tell you what, you want to know who's going to win this series? Whoever gets into whose head first. If Draymond crashes out before Dylan Brooks, or if Dylan Brooks crashes out before Draymond.
I like that.
There's your tiebreaker.
I don't think Draymond will crash out. I think he may crash out in a game, but it will be confined to that game. I don't think Draymond crashes out over a 7-game series. Where Dylan Brooks, again, I tell you about these foreign, even though he's Canadian, still foreign. These foreign mixed guys, can't always trust them.
Yeah. We'll have to check and see how many techs they have, because obviously that could become an issue, certainly, right? Because you can miss a game and get suspended if they're both that close. I don't know how many they got.
No, it starts over in the playoffs. Oh. You get like 5 in the playoffs or something like that.
Yeah, Draymond just got like 5 techs in 2016 because that nigga was wilding.
Yeah.
Idiot. But okay. Now we'll shift our focus to the East. I'll start off with the series that we all know the answer, because we can kind of just one-hitter quitter this. Magic Celtics. I like the Celtics in 5. I think the Magic will get one game at home.
You said Magic Celtics.
Yeah. Give me the Celtics in 5. Orlando will get one game at home, but they'll never beat them in Boston. So Celtics in 5.
Celtics in 5.
Yeah.
4 or 5. Because
they could sweep them, but I don't think they're gonna sweep them. Orlando's giving them troubles over the year.
The Magic are Celtic South, though, in their roster construction. I'm not saying in style of play, but like big wings, point guards that aren't point guards but play good, smart basketball. They're building similarly, and hopefully Jamal Mosley. Jamal Mosley is a better coach than Joe Mazzulla. Joe Mazzulla is not a fucking coach. I'm sorry. He doesn't coach that team. The team is coached from upstairs like a baseball team.
Yeah, you think Brad's calling the shots still, huh?
No, their analytic models runs the team. Like I was reading the top 10 and 3-pointers made, 3 Celtics. Derek White, Peyton Pritchard, and Jason Tatum.
You just shoot a lot of threes.
Yeah, exactly. And that's not coaching. That's the analytic models.
You just play 5 out the whole game and just pass the ball around.
Bro, it's disgusting basketball. I was listening to Gil talk yesterday, right? And he was like, the best players win when they're put in the systems because the system ain't for them. They're going to get their 25 to 30. But the system sets everybody else up to be their best. And the superstar figures out how to score inside the system. And they started talking about one of the years in Washington where he was averaging 30 and Antoine Jameson and Caron were averaging 20, and they're in the Princeton offense. How the fuck does a point guard score 30 in a Princeton offense and have 2 other 20-point scorers? That doesn't really make sense.
It was a good team.
Yeah, it's super duper interesting. But we'll move on to the next series. You got the Pistons and the Knicks, which I don't know why, but a lot of people think that the Pistons have a shot at winning this series. And I've watched some Pistons ball. Obviously, without a doubt, what's his face? That should be the coach of the year.
Maybe Bickerstaff.
Yeah,
It should be.
JB should be the coach of the year because you don't turn a 14, 15 win team into a what? They won 45 games or something like that.
44.
You don't do that pretty much overnight with the same talent.
And your second league, they added some people, but I the reason why I think that he should be more of coach of the year is their second leading scorer broke his leg. He hadn't played in like 60 games. Jaden Ivey.
Yeah, I was going to say Jaden Ivey. Yeah.
Malik Beasley was second in the league in 3-pointers made. That's only because Ant-Man went crazy the last game to pass him. Also, side note, Ant-Man led the league in 3-pointers made at 39.1%. That's crazy. He's too athletic to be scoring threes at that clip.
He's getting better every year.
I know, man.
He's getting better every year.
That man does no wrong.
He could turn into the next or possibly the greatest player to ever come out of this great state that we all live in. But
no, that's the guy who's going to the Hall of Fame this year, being walked in by Shaq.
No, I mean, as of today, but we'll see how it ends.
Ended.
Anyways, I like the Knicks to win this series. The Knicks are such a because Tibbs runs the starters into the ground. It's hard to gauge how many games this will go, but like I would like to think Knicks in 6 because I just don't think Detroit wins every game at home. And we all know what the MSG crowd is like. And this is a Knicks team that was put together. You made the cat move because you did want to take that next step. They fell flat against all the great, good teams this year, but they handled business against anyone that basically had a worse record than them, and the Pistons fall in that category. I think Cade's going to be a matchup problem. Obviously, I'm going to assume that they put OG. It's going to be a swap of OG and
Mikal.
Yeah, Bridges that are going to be on him.
I like Bridges. I think OG's a little too. I think OG's a little too big for him, Pauls.
Yeah, because he's not going to really be out on the perimeter, but he's a great perimeter defender. I mean, he can guard on the perimeter, so
he can guard wings on the perimeter. K's a little bit different.
He can guard Cade.
I'm a Cade guy. Sorry,
I'm just a big hoop fan. I like Cade a lot, but I think he can guard Cade. At the end of the day, players like that, you don't really guard them. You just try to slow them down, bro. You have to throw both bodies on them. It's going to have to be a mix of Josh Hart, Anunoby, Mikal.
Yeah, a Josh Hart. Because, you basically could really rotate all three of those guys. And that's the fun with their lineup. You got 3 guys that can – they don't all do the same thing, but they're all they're stronger defenders. You know what I mean? They've got size. Josh Hart, obviously, he's more of the glue of that group.
Yeah,
so he doesn't have to – he can take on an assignment for a whole game and not score any points, right? So he doesn't even have to really worry about the offensive end. He'll crash boards and play defense the whole game.
That's a nigga who really likes to play basketball. You know, some of these niggas, they like getting buckets and doing all that other stuff.
Fucking
Josh
Hart,
Josh Hart likes playing basketball. He just want to get on the court and play.
Yeah. So what are you guys' predictions for that series?
The Knicks.
Knicks in 6?
Nigga, Isaiah Stewart is beast too. Come on, man. Cat's gonna kill him.
Jalen Duran's an underrated player, though. And I'm not. I mean, obviously, Cat's better, but like, hey, look, that nigga he gets on those boards. What says you, Joe?
I got Knicks in 5, 6. I just really don't see the Pistons winning. I think that Pistons have players that can create their own shot. That's what I think. One thing, you can't have enough people that can create their own shot. I don't think they have enough stoppers on defense. If really any. If you really look at their rotation,
let's go look it up and play physical.
Because you start talking about is Beasley, Hardaway. I guess Schroeder gets in.
Thompson,
Harris.
Yeah,
Other time-
they got Tobias's ass too. Yeah.
But, like, are you thinking of Tobias as a stopper? Like,
No, fuck no.
Hey, not too much on Big T.
Hey, yeah, I guess he went to Tennessee too, didn't he?
Yeah.
he did go to Tennessee. But yeah, I
Apparently
just
he
don't see
was
him
bad
as
on the NU circuit.
I just don't see him as a stopper. Like they'll play. I mean, we'll see. Oh, they got a sewer. Forgot about a sewer.
You mean the less talked
Other
about Thompson twin?
Yeah, and he's better than him in.
Okay.
Honestly, I don't know because I know the media is glazing Amin because he plays on the 2 seed in the West.
And men is more, but they both have the same bounce. But a man just plays more fluid. But like he's more of a coast to coast type player, springy. But like they literally are like carbon copies of each other, athleticism wise.
Yeah, well, they're twins.
They're twins, yeah, like yeah, obviously. Then but I mean, even when they were growing up, like I was really surprised. I think Amin has better point guard traits than Asur. That's what I think. If Amin has a better career than Asur, they will. Like you'll see that. But Amin also don't play with a Cade. Like Cade is their facilitator. He's their Trae Young to the Hawks. So like you got Van Vliet, but like they don't play through Van Vliet. They don't play through like they play through Shingun and Jalen really, and Van Vliet's there, but he's still like their facilitator. I just think that Asur is. I mean, Asur. I think they said growing up, like on their teams, like Asur was winning MVP all the time, like over Amin too. Asur broke out last year before men did as well, before he got them blood clots. So he had to come back in, ease back in a source. So I just think it's just a different team. I think Bickerstaff want to go with like more veteran than compared to the Rockets because their whole team are basically 20 years old. Yeah, exactly. But I like the sword though.
Yeah. I don't think that they're going to be able to cover. There's too much balance scoring on the Knicks. I think he's a nice player too, but like the Knicks, they literally built this team for this, and the last thing that they would want to do is, which they're going to lose to Boston too, but they're not going out to them. So we'll go ahead and take them, but we'll move on to the last series that we do have up here, and another one that I think goes 7, Bucks Pacers. Obviously, biggest thing here is knowing whether or not Dame is going to be playing. It sounds like he is going to play, but the question is, when does he return? Let's say he misses the first 2 games. Huh?
I thought they ruled him out for the series. Is that not?
I don't know how long it's out. I just know he's not.
I know that they said he
back.
did some work on the court. I didn't. If they ruled him out, did they rule him out like today?
I thought they ruled him out for the series. I could be wrong.
God, I hope not. Shit, because I definitely want to pepper this Bucks money line at plus 160 over the Pacers at minus 185. I like the Bucks in 7.
Something totally unrelated. Jalen Ramsey was spotted in Atlanta last night.
Mm-hmm.
Need that.
They're not going to trade for him though. He's going to have to get cut.
But no, I don't care who wins this series because I'll watch these games on accident. The Bucks, they don't play they're not a great TV show. And neither is Indiana. They're kind of reflective of their cities as far as their basketball teams. It's like, yeah, you're big enough to have a team, you know, like Indianapolis is a major city. You know, they have football and basketball, right?
Yeah.
Milwaukee has football and baseball, and Green Bay's not far. But no, who the fuck want to go there? Nigga, nobody want to watch that shit. Nigga, that's flyover country.
I'm excited for the series.
I was about to say, Lee, I think you're being a little
Yeah.
harsh. I think that it'll be.
I don't like
year.
to watch Tyrese Halliburton play basketball.
I wanted the Hawks to draft Tyrese so bad.
I don't like his game. I just don't like it. What's that African nigga name?
Siakam.
Siakam.
Yeah.
I thought he was gonna add something else after the championship. He kind of just flatlined. I mean, he flatlined as an all-star level player, but he's kind of flatlined. I don't really like watching his game. Giannis, he just, run at the basket and press square. I know he done worked on his mid-range game, but I don't like to watch Giannis play basketball. He's really good and he plays hard, but like if Dame's not playing, I don't really want to watch that bad. I don't.
Well, they got Bobby Portis back right on time.
Big addition.
You said mid?
I said that's a big addition.
Oh, it's like you said mid. I'm like, God damn. Is Bobby Portis going to have to choke a bit? Like,
Yeah.
now I like him coming back right at the right time. So he's got to be kind of fresh here too. Again, Giannis is the best player on the floor. They don't really have an answer for him. They played last year, right?
But Giannis didn't play.
Giannis was hurt.
Right. And that series
Dame was
still went
hurt at the end
6.
too.
No, I got swept.
They got swept. They didn't
I
get
looked
swept
today.
last year.
Unless Dame missed some games, but Dame lost every game he played in. I think it said 0-4. I looked at it.
They didn't get swept though. They won some games.
Look it up. Look
Let
it
me
up.
see.
But I looked at it like yesterday, because I was like, let me see what Dame averaged, and he averaged like 31, 4, and 7. But he said he only played 4 games, unless he missed a game.
They beat them. It was in 6. That's what I thought. That's what I was thinking. I'm like,
man,
man, they didn't get swept last. They couldn't have got swept.
That's what I was thinking that too. But I think Dame did miss some games, and he did get hurt in that series. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So pretty much, he was just a non-factor. But without a guy like Giannis out there, I'm not saying that Dame should be taking over, but I mean that was pretty much the same song and dance. I mean, I know that they beat Houston that year. Of course, they went to the West Finals the one year they got swept by Golden State, but like that was pretty much been the play. That's Blazers basketball. So with him just on the floor, I could see how that would happen. Plus, last year was just one of those years for the Pacers. They were the hot team, kind of. They beat the Knicks. They got
Yeah, they beat the hurt Knicks. They beat the hurt Bucks, and the Celtics said that was their toughest series in the playoffs. And the Celtics,
because all those games were close. If you remember, those games were all close. They had one game that they should. The game 1 was the one I think that they should have like absolutely won. And Jaylen Brown hit like that 3 or something. Right?
Hey, how amazing is it that Jaylen Brown at one point was the highest paid player in the league, and he still doesn't have a left hand? Like all these coaches when we was growing up, hey, you got to work on your off hand. You got to work on your off hand, or just be fire as fuck with your strong hand.
Yeah. Look at Jan. I mean, look at Zion. I ain't seen Zion go right.
Lefties don't go right, man.
That's fair. I'm left-handed, so I mean,
lefties don't go right.
But you guys are both left-handed, right?
I'm left-handed. Yeah.
Bro, I remember I was hooping one day. Hey, bro, he going left. I was like, duh.
Yeah, that's my strong hand.
you Lamar Odom ass niggas. But yeah,
hey.
I wasn't calling you him personally. I'm just talking about whenever I look up and like Lamar Odom would, shoot a 3 or something, and you just see that left hand. I'm like, gosh. Bro. Or even D-Fish too. He's left-handed, right? Yeah.
No. He got the beats put on him. Dog, I saw Lamar Odom on my 30th birthday.
Where?
Outside of Hooters on Peachtree. I was walking in Hooters, and he was just out there chilling. And I walked by. He's 6'10" as fuck. I looked up. I was like, oh, shit, that's LO. I ain't speaking to you, nigga. He was out there looking like he was looking lost.
Like he was trying to get a score.
He was on that. You feel me?
I don't know what he was doing. I'm just saying he was outside of Hooters by himself looking lost. It wasn't like no black Yukon Suburban came and picked him up. A Benz. Nah, nigga just looked out there like, nigga, I'm just in the city kicking it. You know what I'm saying?
He's probably waiting on Magic's doors to open. But look, either way, all right. So that's pretty much the playoff series here. And then before we get you out of here, Joe, first of all, thank you for coming on.
For sure. For
I
sure.
know it was a little last minute, but I knew that you were the perfect person for this, and specifically coming in to talk about the Hawks, and then of course basketball playoffs. So thank you for coming on. But before we get you out of here, we got to get your NBA Finals prediction. Who's it going to be, and in how many games? Who's playing in that game?
I'm gonna go. I mean, I think it's just set up for it, man. I'm gonna go Celtics, Lakers, bro. It's set up for it.
That's who I think it's going to be too, though. Literally,
yeah.
I think it's going to be the Celtics and the Lakers.
I got Celtics, Lakers. I think it's going to be downright brawl. 7 Celtics. I think Celtics repeat. I wouldn't be surprised if Celtics. Honestly, the Celtics. That might be the best built team I've ever seen. Especially as it come from a starting lineup.
Poorly coached, man. So poorly coached. Not built better than the Warriors.
Can we agree in a weird way, that the Celtics are almost the equivalent of the Eagles? I know that they both just won, but are they not like almost pinpoint? If an NBA team was an NFL team and an NFL team was an NBA team, those two would be too comparable all the way around. They both wear green. But I would say we all agree that both of their coaches are not the reason that they're winning. They play a certain style of ball. Their GMs built these teams to be this way, and now everybody's trying to catch up and replicate them.
Hey, Pete, here's what it is. How do they pay all these niggas? Like you think about the Celtics. Jaylen Brown, Jason Tatum got 2 of the richest contracts in NBA history. Drew is getting a bag.
He's got 100.
Derek
White's got 100.
Derek White's getting paid. Bro, how you paying all these niggas just like the Eagles?
Peyton Pritchard's about to win 6th Man of the Year.
He ain't getting shit. He ain't getting paid. He gonna stay. But hey,
I bet somebody's gonna pay him. You nigga, they're gonna let Collins' ass get out of there. Utah gonna end up paying him if Will Hardy's still there.
Yeah.
Well, probably. But hey, Joe, I got something for you. I don't disagree with Lakers Celtics based on me watching basketball. But goofy shit happens. And this is a show. And Stephen A makes a lot of money saying crazy shit, right? So I should emulate Stephen A so I can make money making crazy shit, saying crazy shit. But I wouldn't be shocked if we had a LeBron Cavs finals.
I'd be very shocked. I like where you're going.
I'm not thinking I'm not thinking from a basketball point of view. I understand how the basketball could possibly make it happen because the Celtics don't really have an answer for the 2 bigs. I know they have their 2 bigs, but they don't fit. It just But LeBron versus Cleveland and winning finals in a Game 7 in Cleveland to go back to his home in Akron that he can't sell because nobody can afford it.
Yeah. I personally don't even see Cleveland making the Eastern Conference Finals.
Really? So you have the Pacers or the Bucks knocking them out.
The Bucks, yeah, for sure. My biggest thing with the Cavs is that, like, one, I don't like how they play down the stretch. I watch a lot of Jeff Teague on podcasts. Jeff Teague's like, this mirrors
the Hawks.
Our team. It mirrors the Hawks. They started chilling towards the end of the year. Even though the Hawks still made these conference finals, they were in battles. And I think that Darius Garland is going to have to get crazy buckets for them to stay afloat, bro. Like Ty Jerome played great off the bench. Like DeAndre, like you're going to need your points from your players. Like Donovan's going to have to average 30. Like I don't think that, like, if Darius Garland don't average at least 22, I mean, I just don't see them really getting to a certain point, bro. That's really the biggest thing. That Pacers can beat them. Pacers can 100% beat them.
Hey, they lucky that Orlando beat the Hawks yesterday because if Orlando would have got to 8,
I
spooky.
think they would have beat the
Yeah,
Cavs.
well, that went 7 last year.
Yeah, and Orlando beat them in the regular season. You know, they did well against them in the regular season. But hey, Pete, you got any more basketball stuff for Joe so we can hit a little bit of culture and get out of here? Because we're at 2:14.
Yeah, no, that's about it. Again, appreciate you coming on, Joe.
For sure.
We'll definitely have to invite you back to the program, especially probably around the time we get to the finals.
I'm with it. I mean, I'm
Hey,
here.
yeah, thanks, man, so much. Enjoyed it. Yeah, Pete just told me you were coming on, and I was like, yeah, I know that nigga cool.
Yeah, let's get it.
Yeah,
For
bring it
sure.
in.
All right, dog.
All right,
Hey,
appreciate it, brother.
Have a good one. Appreciate y'all boys.
Yep.
Yes, sir.
Hey, you know, I got Kendrick SZA 2 weeks.
Is that in 2 weeks?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I was looking for my outfit on Fashion Nova today.
I don't know why it feels like that just snuck up on us. It's 2 weeks.
Yeah. It's like the
You know,
27th, 28th.
But you know what? And I just said the same thing because I was like, God, the NFL draft is next week. Maybe the year just feels like it's flying by.
Hey, what you think about this? I'm thinking some black denim young nigga pants, right?
Mm-hmm.
Black denim little slim fit jacket, right?
Mm-hmm.
Some black and white Nike Cortezes and a SZA graphic tee.
Is the SZA graphic tee white or black?
I haven't made up my mind yet.
Or are you gonna get maybe a gray or something in there?
No. I'm gonna go black or white. I thought about just going in there all blacked out to, you know, just to pay my respects while I'm at the elongated funeral.
You gonna come in there? I got a bone to pick. That's what niggas gonna be jumping up and down to.
But no, I also thought about doing something a bit more lively and wear a bucket hat and just be in there vibing.
Shades.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I don't think I'm going to work the day after. I think I'm going to put in some PTO.
So it's during the week. It's like a Tuesday or Wednesday or
Monday or Tuesday.
Okay. Have you decided who's going to be the lucky person going with you? I know obviously you changed plans. Probably.
No, I have not. No plans have been changed. You know, there are things that we talk about privately that are not for public consumption.
Understood. Well, we will move along then from that. I like the idea of the fit though.
Yeah,
I do indeed like that. I feel like we should start culture off with the most culturally relevant topic, and to me, that is the 6 women that went into space on Jeff Bezos's aircraft, with including his fiance, Gayle King, and Katy Perry. Many people are kind of calling for their heads in a sense of the emissions that they kind of let into the air and what that did, and them coming out and basically saying it's so empowering. And then, of course, I sent you the little tidbit of what Gayle had to say, and I'll quote real quick, or maybe you can even play it.
No, I don't want to hear her voice.
Okay, well, I'll quote. What Blue Origin wants to do is take the waste here and figure out a way to put it in space to make our planet cleaner. Number 2, have you been? Have you been? If you've been and you still feel that way after you come back, please let's have a conversation. You know, I'm not 100% sure why she would come out and say something like that.
Well, because she heard what people were saying online, even people who she knows and like friends of hers. I think everybody should just kind of shut up. Who cares? Rich people do rich stuff and they contradict themselves. Poor people do poor stuff and they contradict themselves. Everybody's a walking contradiction. I just don't care. Like, I don't care at all. I wish Gayle wouldn't have said anything because she did and she sounds stupid. Like, Gail, what are you talking about? You know, hey, yeah, he's gonna do all these great things. Guess what, Gail? Once he proves that his rocket can go to space multiple times, and like, don't get me wrong, I think he should do so many flights annually to make sure his shit's working. You know what I'm saying? Like, you can't just let that shit sit there.
Right.
But no, and what ends up happening, right? They'll probably go up there because we don't know shit about space for real, for real. We just know what the government tells us. And Gail King, bro, that's whole international space station shit. It might be a whole rich nigga community up there for all I know. And I'm not a conspiracy theorist like that. But Bezos is just taking, you know what I'm saying? This nigga is just hopping on the PJ and going to space.
Yeah. And apparently that was like they've been doing it since 2022, I think, or 2023. And that was
got bored in COVID.
You said who?
He got bored during COVID.
Yeah, and just started thinking about, man, what can I do next? And he knows that Elon was pretty much doing it too. And those two guys are pretty much the only guys in competition at this point. So it's like,
yeah, one's a lib and one's a fucking Musk.
And I got a colorful aura.
But no, I just think that's some rich people stuff, and like it gets attention, so we talk about it. But I could really care less. I don't care about Gail King.
Yeah, or Katy Perry.
Bro, I'm not. What's her last hit?
I don't remember. I just remember.
She's an Ole Miss fan.
You said who?
She's an Ole Miss fan.
Oh yeah, she was on College Game Day that one time
when Chad Kelly beat Saban.
Yeah. The only thing that a great album, California Girls or Teenage Dream, one of the best pop albums ever, in my opinion. It was a hit my senior year. That album was great. She's got like nothing but hits on that album. But aside from that, not really a relevant person. I mean, I'm sure she still is huge. I think Roar might be the last track I can remember. And she didn't do our Super Bowl. Lady Gaga did our Super Bowl, right?
Hey, no, it was like the white guy. Adam
No, not in Atlanta. The Falcons Super Bowl.
I don't remember.
Yeah, you were just hammered because we were up 21-3, right?
No, I actually wasn't that hammered. I was just like riding a high and not paying attention to a Super Bowl halftime show before Jay-Z got the aux cord.
Jay wasn't on aux yet.
I know. I'm saying not paying attention to a halftime show.
Oh, before until Holt took over. Gotcha.
So I'll tell you, dog, I've never been let me stop what I'm doing to make sure I watch the Super Bowl halftime show. That used to be a time for me to eat.
Except for this year. You did it this year, though.
Well, since Hov has had the aux, yeah, I watched the Super Bowl halftime show. Who did? Oh, yeah. Hell yeah. What else, man? Real quick, because I ain't got much. Because here's my struggle, dog. Between doing a Monday, Wednesday show, obviously there's going to be like crossover in some topics.
Mm-hmm.
I like trying not to have too much crossover for my own brain, even though there are some topics that you and I will talk about totally differently than on that show, different audiences, all that shit, but whatever. Steve is running for president. The other show, they don't let me call him Steve. They like, bro, his name is Stephen A. Smith. Steve Smith.
Yeah.
Stephen Smith. You go by Stephen A. Stop disrespect, whatever. But yeah, I main character syndrome.
Main character syndrome, yeah. That's 100% what that is.
And I think main character syndrome is very relevant to this not to this conversation, to our lives.
Yes.
Because it's hard when you're the main character in your story and then somebody tries to or somebody tries to take the leading role, like while you're recording, like, hey, we've already casted. You know what I mean? You've been casted for a certain role. You are supporting member of the cast of this show, of this movie. Now, your movie, totally different. You're the main character. I don't want to take over your movie. But you don't get to be the main character in your movie and my movie. And far too often, people think that they should be everyone's main character when they should only be their own, or those who allow them to be the main character. Like, say, Steve Smith of ESPN, right? They allow him to kind of be the main character, even though there's some other whatever.
Yeah.
But he thinks because he's been the main character in his time slot, and he's the guy at ESPN who gets the numbers and this and that and gets talked about the most, he thinks he should be the main character for America. And a TLC song that just really sits with me, that I used to not even understand the words when I was a kid, because you know how you be hearing songs wrong when you're young.
Yeah.
But don't go chasing waterfalls. Stick to the rivers and lakes that you're used to. And for me, that doesn't mean don't try to be the best version of yourself. It means be the best version of yourself. Don't try to be the best version of something else that you're not. And that's what happens with these people who want to be main characters. Like, yo, Batman, Superman, The Flash, Green Lantern, all these niggas get movies. But when the Avengers come together, or whoever, when these niggas come
Justice
together,
League.
I'm mixing these universes up because I ain't no fucking nerd. I'm a sports guy.
Yeah, Justice League. It's a Batman Superman movie.
When the Justice League get together, it's Superman running this. It's Superman and Batman. They head honcho. You know what I'm saying? Superman, because he actually the finest nigga
with powers, with actual powers. Bruce is just rich.
Yeah. Bruce is your typical rich guy with some trauma.
Bruce is Iron Man to Superman's Captain America.
Yes. Because, Bruce, everything he ever needed was there, but his parents died, when he was young. So, bro, this nigga's just looking for purpose.
His origin story is set up. Yeah.
But I said a lot to just, talk about how main character syndrome can affect you in your life. Parlay Pete, have you dealt with main character syndrome in a way that made you uncomfortable?
I have been around people, that have had main character syndrome that would, whether that be try to come into my life or I see it happening to somebody else. I've definitely got to see it. And then there are some people, their main character syndrome can be so bad to where they will try and tie you into their story because they want you to be dragged into it. Like they're the protagonist and then you can become the antagonist, right? Because there always has to be that for the most part. No, there's no such thing as a non-bad guy in a movie, right? There's always somebody that's the opposition or the anti-them, right? Uh-huh. And so there has to be something, because if not, nobody's going to watch it. Nobody wants to see a bunch of people not face any type of adversity because that's not real unless you're rich as fuck. Then even then, again, like we just said with Batman, they still set that up to where there was something, right? He didn't have his parents. And it's just like he could have everything in the world, but he never got that. So they still set it up to where he's equally yoked from a standpoint of he's not perfect. He's a man. There's something else there. And people will try and drag that into it as opposed to just letting the story write itself. They have to create that narrative so that they can always be the protagonist and never the antagonist. Even though we all have at some point in our lives been the antagonist, whether that be to somebody else's life or even in our own life, we know that we are the antagonist in this situation.
Right. But you know what? The best crossovers in TV?
What's that?
Were the spinoffs.
Yeah. I see where you're going. Let's go ahead.
Where you have two separate entities that cross paths.
Yeah.
They create the relationship and they're tied together for pretty much forever, right? To some degree. But they become their own separate shows with their own separate stories, with their own separate characters. And then when they do the later crossovers, it makes a lot more sense, right? And that kind of takes me to All in the Family and the Jeffersons. That's some of the best crossover TV ever. But what I don't want to watch when I'm watching All in the Family or the Jeffersons is the crossover episode every fucking week. But some Archie Bunker and George Jefferson together, amazing TV. You talk about a bigoted white man who ain't got much and a rich nigga who like to pop his shit going back and forth. Amazing TV. But you don't get to appreciate Archie and the other characters in All in the Family if you don't watch All in the Family. You don't get to appreciate George Jefferson and the other characters if you don't watch the Jeffersons. And when it comes to interlocking lives with people, hey, my nigga, I'm the main character of this show, nigga. I'm George Jefferson. You're not Wheezy. You're Archie Bunker. You got your own shit, and we rock with each other, and we're tied together. And our stories will cross paths. They're interwoven, but they're still our own separate stories. And if you want to think about it from a relationship point of view, it doesn't, especially intimate relationships, right? People be losing who they are in their relationship, trying to build like what's the Boston movie? It's slipping my mind. You know the good Boston movie that they all wrote together. It took forever for them to get done.
Good Will Hunting?
Yes, Good Will Hunting. Bro, everybody ain't Good Will Hunting. Everybody ain't like the Oceans movies. If you want to go to nigga classics, dog, everybody ain't Life.
Yeah.
Nights. Now, some of us are truly Eddie Murphy and Richard Pryor, right? Great in their own right. Again, tied together. It's dope when they link up every now and then.
But separate stories ultimately.
Bingo.
Yeah.
That probably goes against that whole, like, when you get married, that unity candle thing. But like at the rate that marriages work in this country, I like not losing yourself in a relationship. And that goes both ways. Like neither one of you lose yourself because what brought you together was your individual story arcs, not this combined story arc that you're building and trying to manipulate to get somebody to be somebody that they may not necessarily be to appease you. And again, this goes both ways. And nah, nigga, we fuck with each other because of how we moved independently.
Right.
Now let's move dependent, like let's move together.
There's collaboration, of course.
Let's collaborate, but let's not be codependent.
Yeah, you're not. Look at it from which we got WrestleMania coming up this weekend. Look at it from a wrestling standpoint. Shawn Michaels and Triple H were their own separate characters. Then they became DX. Arguably, outside of maybe the NWO, certainly the greatest faction tag team of all time.
I think it's the greatest because of the origin. Like DX was built because of the squad, which was Kevin Nash, Triple H, and Shawn Michaels.
Right, which really is both of them. It's the NWO and DX.
But like they were like legit boys, and then eventually it made sense, especially after Nash left, to make DX an in the ring thing. Bro, these niggas are drunk in every city, in every strip club together.
Doing cocaine.
I'm not gonna.
No, they said that they did. They said that that's what they were doing. At least I tell you what, Shawn Michaels admitted to it. X-Pac admitted to it. Like, that's what they were doing. That's okay, because that's what 90s and 80s wrestling was. It's guys taking roids, banging chicks, drinking, getting into bar fights, doing coke, taking pain medicine, like abusing fucking morphine and shit. Like, that was wrestling though back in the day.
The wrestlers said they preferred going to the strip club not because of the ass and titties, but it was because they wanted to chill out somewhere, listen to music, and have a drink. And in the strip club, people didn't bother them in the same way they would at like a dive bar.
Yeah. Yeah, well, because think about it. It's everybody's going in there for the same thing. A dive bar, not that everybody's not going there to do the same thing, but people go out to drink to talk to people. If you go to a strip club, you're not really going in there to talk to other men. You're there for the ass, the drinks, the music, and or it could be business.
Or you might be in there for other men, but it's just your guys.
Yeah.
In a cool environment, right? Like, bro, if I lived in the city, I could see us hitting Cheetahs on a random weekday at like 8.
I'd love to do it for lunch. That's what I want to go during daytime. I don't even want to go at night when it's like, wow. I want to go in there and get something to eat.
I don't have lunch flexibility like that. If I did.
Yeah. But I'm just saying, let's say you had a work from home day. You got a majority of your work done, or you're not necessarily being monitored. You can step out for a 2-hour lunch, right? Like something like that.
Fair, but yeah, we got.
By the way, the Mavericks are fucking drilling the Kings, which I told you too, by the way. I said, I think Dallas is going to beat them, but that I also thought Dallas would beat Memphis. Now, I'm not going to lie. Memphis looked like the Memphis that they had been previously last night. But I told you, I like Dallas to beat Memphis too. I think Anthony Davis is the best player on the floor.
Yeah, well, yeah. I think Anthony Davis is kind of in that Trae Young conversation of severely underrated players. And
well, he's on the NBA 75 team, though. I mean,
but in the way that he's discussed today,
nobody has ever said that he was the best player in the NBA.
No, but he's never been the best player in the NBA because when he played his best basketball, LeBron was still in his extended prime, and Steph Curry and KD
was in his prime.
Together.
Yeah,
and then Giannis is coming. Pause.
Jokic,
and Jokic, and then AD goes to the Lakers, to where he's not going to consistently put up the numbers to compete with these guys.
Well, and he plays with LeBron, who is still in his prime. So he's going to always be second fiddle to that.
Yeah, LeBron's 24, 8, and 8, by the way. His first season in 20 seasons without averaging 25.
Hell of a run since his rookie year.
He was averaging 25 until Luka got there.
Yeah.
And then Austin Reeves shit went up, pause. Whoa, that was insane.
That is insane. That's oof.
Yeah.
We can make a highlight reel out of this.
Yeah, no, I've said some crazy shit on the spot.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to talk about?
I think that's about it. I was hoping there was going to be a basketball game I get to watch, but with the Kings down 20, I don't.
Bro.
I'm sorry, they're down 23. It's 71-48 with 30 seconds left in the first half. So this game's over.
71 in the first half?
It's 71-48. Game's over.
Bro, I told you I'm pro-life, and that's why I'm not watching basketball tonight. Do not say what you said in pre-production.
I'm not. What are the Kings gonna do real quick before we get out of here? Because this is their second year in the play-in. They moved LaVine. Got LaVine. They moved Fox. What do you do? I mean, they paid DeMar. I mean, there's no way you can run this team back. Like, so what do they do? Can they just?
I mean, why not? There's nothing else. No,
Yeah,
why, bro? There's nothing else to do in Sacramento. Just run it back. Make money.
You gonna let Doug Christie be the coach again?
Sure.
So you can just fire him a year later. I mean,
Sure.
you can't, because here's the worst part. You can't go get Mike Malone, unfortunately, so that's not going to work. You can't fill your head coaching job that way. So
Taylor Jenkins.
yeah, he's going to get some interest. If I wouldn't be surprised, they probably won't fire Willie Green. But if Joe Dumars decides to move on from Willie Green, Mike Malone would be a nice fit down there.
Willie Green's gone. I don't think Mike Malone goes there. I think Mike Malone might sit out and
do TV for a year.
No, just chill and pick his right job.
Okay.
Hey, you know Bud's getting paid by like 2 teams for the next 2 years, right?
Hey, what do we say? Greatest job in sports is a fired coach. And that was what I did want to do when I brought up the Mount Rushmore. I said, who are the Mount Rushmores? And we can do this real quick. The Mount Rushmore of coaches that get paid to not coach. Obviously, Bud's got to be on there now.
Monty.
You put Monty on there on the Mount Rushmore. I'm talking the poster child of this stuff.
Bro, he got the highest coaching contract in NBA history and got fired 1 season later.
I'm gonna go Bud because he's dipping in 2 pockets. I'm gonna go.
I think Monty's still dipping in 2 pockets too. I think he's still getting some Phoenix money.
Charlie Weiss, obviously, because he's got to be kind of the first guy to kind of do it.
Jimbo.
Oh yeah, well, and that's who I was really thinking. Jimbo is the. Jimbo hit the Powerball without ever picking numbers.
Say again?
I said Jimbo hit the Powerball without ever having to pick numbers.
That nigga Jimbo said, "Hey, let me get a Powerball ticket."
They're like, "What number do you want?"
He was like, "I don't want any numbers, but look, this is gonna cash in the next 5 years. Okay, it's gonna cash."
Yeah.
And they're like, "Bro, what? Just let me. Here's $5. Let me get my ticket. It's gonna cash." And I know lottery tickets don't work like that. You have to keep getting new ones. But no, Jimbo has the golden ticket.
Yeah.
And then he came back in that gas station and he looked at it like, "See, my friend?"
All right. They looked at him like he was a fucking wizard. But yeah, Jimbo, Charlie Weiss, Bud now. And I mean, if you want to put Monty, I guess that's fine. He got the highest. I mean, he did get fired after 1 year from Detroit. You could do him, or you could do Matt Rule. I mean, yeah. Frank Reich. Hey, Frank is coaching at Stanford this year, and he's doing it only for 1 year. And think about it, they set this up purposely that way, because obviously he didn't want the Colts. Hell, he's getting paid by the Colts and the Panthers too. But the Panthers' bag is bigger, obviously. Think about it, the Panthers are paying just like how Ishbia is about to be paying. 3 guys, no, 4 guys. Once they hire whoever they hire, the Panthers are almost in the same fucking bracket. I mean, he's paying out big money to Matt Rule and Frank Reich and Canales.
Hey,
hell, Jacksonville. I'm sure Doug is still getting paid. Herb is still getting paid.
Herb might be done now. Because I think Trevor's in year 6. I think Trevor's going into year 6, so that would put Herb at year 5. That would put Herb just.
Is he? Maybe.
Oh. Justin Fields, 3 years in Chicago. They didn't pick up his 4th year option.
1 year in Pittsburgh. It's year 5.
Yeah, so he got one more. I think he got 1 more year. Damn, you made me forget. Oh, John Gruden, he got the second best cancel moment ever. Donald Sterling's number 1. Being forced to sell your team
for a record price,
for a record price at more than what it was valued for, and then getting a lot of that cash or getting the whole thing cash. Now he had to break it down. He had to bust it down with his wife or about to be ex-wife. No. He had because they were joint. He had to bust it down, but still to get like 2.1 cash in hand. Yo, Pete, if you get 2.1 bill cash in hand, nigga, what are you doing?
I'd be just like Donald Sterling. You never see me again.
Bro, if I got 2 bill, I'm giving like all my close friends just a meal off the top just because I'm like, I have a millions, dog.
Yeah.
Bro, here. And this is just because I fuck with you.
Right.
Now, if you come at me with some investing type shit, that's a totally different conversation.
Yeah.
And I won't even like really try to pinch you for a crazy heavy percentage because I would want you
I'm
to
a
become
billionaire.
well, but I also want you to get super filthy rich like this so we can do super filthy rich shit together.
Yeah. Not be sheiks or anything, but
No. I just mean if it's like, hey, trying to take a yacht and just go to fucking somewhere where the scallywags are. Like, I'm talking about the expensive ones. We don't even got to go to like DR or fucking Colombia.
yeah. Well, at that point, you start sitting up talking. Obviously, it's hypothetical because if you got it from buying it from owning an NBA team, but at that point, you start thinking about, man, what type of team y'all want to buy?
Yeah.
Like, nigga, this is our day-to-day life. Like, we run the
Nah,
team. Like,
this becomes one of those things where you start, hey, I need to get in touch with that BET nigga. I need to get in touch with that nigga who gave that all that money at Morehouse.
yeah. You don't
Hit
want
up
Oprah
Braun.
involved, do you?
Hit up Braun. We need Hove involved, but we don't want Hove's money.
You just want a contract hold, like kind of like how the NFL does it.
But we gotta come up with enough cash so Arthur sells outright.
Well, you know,
First
he would
thing
just
I'm
wanted to
doing-
go to the foundation anyways.
Huh?
He would wanted to just go to the foundation anyways.
That's fine. Put it in the foundation so it's not getting taxed the same way, and you can do what you want to do. But look here, Arthur. I need you and Rich McKay. Your niggas got 48 hours. Say your goodbyes. Get the cleaning crew to come clean your shit up. Rich, you got 6.
Right,
You know,
Rich, I don't want you to be here when the keys get handed over.
look here, Arthur. You're good here as long as your key access works, and we're replacing everything. We're not changing the codes. No. We're replacing everything.
We'll keep up. We'll keep your Ring of Honor. That's fine.
Yeah. And you're welcome to come back after checking in with me for the next 5 years. Anything significant, you're there. You want to keep you want a box. You can't keep your box because nigga, that's the owner's box. It's mine. But you can get a box. You can't come down on the field no more unless you pay for it. Now you got to pay and you got to stay behind the shits too. I'm saying you got to go to the club, Arthur. You can't just be no. But yeah. If I got $2 billion handed over to me, I would immediately try to get with a group of people to purchase a sports franchise because we gonna print money hand over fist, and if it ever gets weird out here, we've still collected so much fucking cash from the thing that we're good.
Yeah, and I'm with you. Obviously, I'll break everybody off. No shit on that. You're a billionaire. That's fucking easy. Hell, man, if I made $100 million, I'd break niggas off. Like, you know what I mean?
100 million. I'm handing out a few $50,000, $100,000. Like, hey, nigga.
Easy. Yeah, bro. Here, man, do what you want. Have some fun. Hey, D, if you want to work with me, man, we got to really put some shit together.
Yeah.
But chief of staff, all that shit, hell yeah, bro. Come on. Like, come on.
Hey, baby moms.
Ant-Man style, huh?
No, I mean, I'm talking about this ain't even child support.
Yeah,
This
just here.
is-
Like, thank you for being the mother of my child.
Yeah, this is baby moms. Here is your bread. This is yours. You ain't got to get a kid shit out of this bread. But don't ever ask me for shit again. I might give you something because you know how we rocking. Like mother first child, only child. You good. But if we get to 2 point, right? Here's your 20 piece. If you need anything else from me again, you're losing custody.
Yeah.
No, imagine giving your baby moms, and not specifically your baby moms, because we are actually niggas with real deal baby moms, and so we don't want to make it personal to them.
Yeah.
But just with the love you have, we have for our children, right? We hand over 20 mil, and Shorty runs through that shit in like 3 years.
I would hope that if it got ran through in 3 years, that you bought shit that's worth shit that you can sell, that you can liquid.
And
I wouldn't, because even as a billionaire, I'm not just gonna, because then you just turn into, then it looks like you're the billionaire.
Yeah.
Like, that's not what this is. 20 million is enough to live off the rest of your life. And if you're smart, you'll more than double it quickly. Like, you'll be able to double that quick.
Bro, you just turn that shit over to somebody who does this, and you don't care if their margins aren't what you want, because you don't have to worry about money ever again. But like, dog, if I give you 20 million, you run through that shit in 3 to 5 years, bro, I gotta take you to court for custody, because you're obviously being too irresponsible for me.
Yeah, you're out of control.
I don't need my kid in that environment.
Yeah, you're out of control.
You're overpaying for nannies. What are we doing here?
Hell, you're not even paying for nannies at that point, though. You're doing something else. You breaking motherfuckers off and keep doing it. Like,
you done broke off half your family and that new nigga.
Right.
He gone.
Hey, and that's your dumb ass fault at that point.
Hey, and that nigga up. He done took the money, flipped it all types of legal ways, and he killing shit.
Yeah, man. I
gotta sit here and look at him spending my money because of your dumb ass. And again, this is not real about our real baby mamas. Okay.
Yeah, of course. And again, maybe Donald Sterling technically. See, I was thinking more coaches, but yeah, he would be on it. He's the biggest winner of all.
Well, and then Gruden's number 2, because they didn't, I don't know if he got his full 100, but he got bought out at a very high price.
Well, yeah, because they settled, right? The lawsuit, even the lawsuit, and I don't know if the lawsuit had anything to do with it 100%. Like, I know that because I guess they fired him for cause, and it caused him to lose the guarantee, whatever that clause was. Okay, but he might have got more than what the contract was worth too, because they might have been able to say, think about it. He could claim punitive damages, not just because this was what I was going to make in my contract, but now you fucked up that even if I didn't make it through my contract, future opportunities for me, and this is how much I've made doing this, so this is how much I should be getting. I might not ever coach again. What the fuck am I supposed to do?
And I can't go back to ESPN. I can't go back to
TV.
I can't do major TV. And my actions that got me fired happened before I got hired.
Yeah.
It's been 3 hours, man. I would like to be in bed before 12.
You got it. We had
all right, I enjoyed it. I'm inside this weekend. Never mind. I was gonna say what you got going on this weekend, but I'm inside this weekend.
I don't have the baby, so hell, maybe I can trek up there. I still haven't been to the house, so
yeah, man. I mean, come on. There's a nice guest room here. We've got space. I'll call Big Trev, and we can bring the guns out this weekend.
All right, here. Hell yeah, I'll hit you up. I'll let you know if it's either. It'll probably be Friday. It would be Friday, I guess, because Sunday's Easter.
Yeah.
Yeah, and 420. Interesting holidays to co-mingle.
I'm more into Easter service and Easter dinner. I don't need grass in my Easter basket.
You're a very honorable man, Lee.
I served this country honorably for 10 years.
And we thank you for your service. True American.
We thank you for your tax dollars. Couldn't do it without them.
Yeah. Well, now we're going to have tariffs to replace that, apparently.
Yeah, well, I'm happy we didn't get into that. But, hey, good show, dog. I'll get this shit uploaded, and I'll holler at you.
Okay. All right, brother.
Yep.